Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to the British Grand Prix qualifying watch-along. Yes, qualifying at Silverstone. What a day it's been, by the way. If you've been watching Sky Sports, wherever you're getting your action this weekend, that's probably the wrong way to word that. What a great start, Sean, but you know what I mean, the racing action. We've had practice was wet. We had F3 was postponed this morning because of the weather. F2 was chaotic with red flag, safety cars, virtual safety cars, and qualifying looks like it's going to have a damp start at the very least as well, and possibly rain. I checked with the Met office on their website before going live. 50% chance of rain for qualifying today, so either it will or it won't, I guess is the argument there, which is, great analysis. But yeah, very much looking forward to this one. Cannot wait to see who gets pole position. I think we're in for a cracker. One of those weekends where it's very much a case of last one across the line. Last one across the line is the guy on pole position, so looking forward to it very much. Hope you're all well. Let me know where you're watching from today, as we tend to do in the qualifying streams. I'm going to do some Q&A to kick things off, really, mostly, because I'm not really sure what to talk about. Quite a lot going on in the driver market and things like that this weekend, so hopefully we'll be able to get into that. So get your questions in chat and such, as I like to say. Also, don't forget to vote on the poll. Which team do you think is going to get pole position today? Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, or Mercedes? I might have to refresh the stream here. There we go. We're sorted. It's working now. Things aren't working. But at the moment, 42% you think it'll be, 43% I think McLaren on pole, 38 Red Bull, 11 Mercedes, and 8 Ferrari. It looks to be pretty close out there, so looking forward very much to seeing who's going to come out on top in that battle, particularly between Red Bull and McLaren. I think that's what we're looking at today. Norris potentially versus Verstappen. Piastri might be in the mix, and you never know. Sergio Perez, who's looked relatively okay this weekend, maybe he'll spring a surprise. Maybe he will spring a surprise. So yeah, first things first, so I do want to say very, very quickly, congratulations to Ollie Behrman, who's got his drive in F1 for next year. Not a massive surprise. I mean, I think everybody expected that was going to happen, and indeed that was confirmed this week on Thursday. When was I was told? I was told it on Tuesday night. Yeah, so Thursday morning, it was confirmed pretty quickly by Haas. So that was good. It's good to get another seat sewn up. Looks like it could be Ocon alongside him, but there's lots of movement going on. We're waiting to see what Sainz is going to do as usual. He needs to make a decision quickly before he runs out of options, that's for sure. Needs to be pretty swift on it. So I think, yeah, that's good news for Ollie Behrman. I'm not going to spoil the F2 race, so don't worry if you haven't seen it yet, so I won't get into that. But I don't think there's too much pressure on him now. He can enjoy the rest of this season in Formula 2, knowing he's in F1 next year. A few more practice, I think 3 more practice sessions this year too, to enjoy at Haas. So, yeah. Well done to Ollie Behrman. Still no news on what Carlos Sainz is doing. CPB in chat just making a point there that thoughts on recent Perez getting axed rumours being brought back up again. That's come from AMUS, hasn't it? That rumour that despite having a contract next year, Sergio Perez could be getting the chop if he doesn't perform. The interesting thing in that story for me, to sort of answer your question, CPB1, is the line in it about, how can I word this? Daniel Ricciardo's sudden upturn in form is sort of how it was worded in there. And if he can continue that upturn in form, then, across this weekend, Hungary and Belgium, then maybe he'll get a shot at the seat for 2025. I don't mean to just dump all over Daniel Ricciardo immediately to start the stream. I'm not sure what the upturn in form is. He had an 8th place in Canada. He was brilliant in Canada. He had a great weekend. There's no denying that. 15th in Spain and 9th in Austria, which was probably his second strongest weekend of the whole season. So if an upturn in form is 1, maybe 2 races as far as Red Bull are concerned, then let's hope Sergio Perez has a good 1 or 2 races, because then surely he's favourite to keep the seat again. It's all very strange. I think this all stems from, of course, Perez's performance is a part of it, but I think it all stems from the Liam Lawson problem we keep talking about. How Marco's talked about it, the board, they want a junior driver who, again, Marco said would be Lawson in that second RB seat next year, because it's a junior team. That's how they see it, and they want to get a driver in there. So it will be Liam Lawson if they decide to make that change, and the board want that. So it'll come down to what the team decide to do, I guess. But the board will have ultimate say, I would imagine. And that means that Christian Horner, who wants Daniel Ricciardo to be involved somewhere, is probably pushing for Ricciardo to stay. So they're probably looking at a way now to solve the Lawson problem by moving Daniel Ricciardo into Perez's seat and Lawson into Daniel Ricciardo's seat. But if Perez was replaced by Carlos Sainz, I'd probably say, yeah, that's fair based on performances. If he's replaced by Daniel Ricciardo based on performance, I'd say that's a little bit harsh on Sergio Perez, because it's not like they're replacing him with a superstar. But at the same time, as my grandma used to say, a change is as good as a rest. So it could well be that moving Daniel Ricciardo into a more competitive car where he might perform better, a fresh pair of eyes in that seat, somebody wanting to prove themselves, maybe that will make a difference. So it's not, basing it on how Daniel Ricciardo is performing now doesn't mean he performed badly in a Red Bull. But I think, if my options are Sergio Perez and Daniel Ricciardo, I'm probably just sticking with Perez to the end of the season, maybe next year, and deciding after 25 what to do, because I'm not sure Daniel Ricciardo is a massive upgrade, and I'll be perfectly happy to come back to this stream in a year's time if Daniel Ricciardo does end up in the Red Bull and he absolutely kills it. But at the moment, I'm not quite sure it'd be a massive upgrade, but we'll see. We will see. The Carlos Sainz thing is fascinating to me, though. Looks like Alpine are now favourites. Williams are getting fed up. Sauber are getting fed up of waiting. Hassel, they're going with Ocon. Sainz is hanging on for this Mercedes seat. I think Toto Wolff, it was, that said earlier in the weekend that the chances of their drivers being in the second Mercedes seat, 33.3% for Sainz, 33.3% for Verstappen, and 33.3% for Antonelli. So hedging his bets a little bit, but that just sort of confirms the three options for Mercedes. So Sainz might be thinking of all the options available or potentially available, that could be the best option. But he needs to be careful that he doesn't wait, then turn around, find out Antonelli's getting that seat, and meanwhile Alpine, Williams and Sauber already signed up the drivers, because then he's going to have nothing. Richard says, you kick Perez, you lose a lot of marketing potential in the US. Yeah, but the thing, I thought about this before we went live, actually, Richard, when I was reading up on it, because I knew the AMUS thing would come up. The thing here is that if you were putting, with no disrespect meant on any driver that I mentioned here, but if you were to put Albon in that seat, for example, that would be great for the Thai sponsor and the Thai ownership of the team. But in terms of marketing, I don't think, I agree with you on the Perez thing. It's worth keeping Perez for the money that comes with that. But actually, Daniel Ricciardo is a massively marketable driver, and the relationship he's got with Verstappen off track, as we saw when they were teammates, they really did work well together in front of the social media camera, let's say. So actually, I think they would be able to recoup some of that from Perez. With the merchandise from Australia, just Daniel Ricciardo fans in general, what they can do on socials, advertising. So they probably have to pull some of that back. But it's one of the things that I think we don't talk about enough. You're right, Richard, about Sergio Perez. He does bring money, and I know Red Bull have got a lot of money, but no team is going to sniff at money, are they? Extra money is always nice. There are lots of people out there who have money, but if they can get some more, they can be very happy with that. So I kind of see it that way with Red Bull. So they don't need the money. It's just nice to have it. But I think Ricciardo would recoup some of that. But it is a massive market, the Mexican market. There's no doubt about that. So we'll see what happens. It's looking like we're coming to a point now where decisions are going to have to be made. Sainz has got to make a decision. He's got to make a decision soon, because Williams are now looking elsewhere. I've heard Bottas to Williams, which I sort of get, with not sponsors, but the experience he brings, and he's a race winner, but it doesn't really excite me, frankly. I thought Sainz was quite a cool move. I was looking forward to that alongside Albon, but that's another argument, isn't it? If Daniel Ricciardo did go to Red Bull, Lawson gets the seat at RB for next year, does Perez then suddenly become an option for Williams? Because again, that money, as Richard's mentioned there, that he brings from Mexico, will be good for Williams, but also he is a race winner, and he was winning races last year, for goodness sake. So could he suddenly be in the frame for Williams? So it's all fascinating, but it's all sort of, apart from Mercedes, it's towards the back end, isn't it? And maybe Red Bull if they do open up that seat again. But ultimately, I don't want to I hate this phrase because it's just absolutely duh. But it's Perez's seat to lose. He's in it. It's his to lose. So if he turns up this weekend and performs, does the same in Hungary and Belgium, all of a sudden, all of that goes away. All of a sudden, he's looking good. And then if Ricciardo does end up in that car and Perez is performing, then we know that it's a commercial decision or a decision based on the junior driver. So there you go. It's going to be an interesting few weeks. We'll see what happens. But yeah, John says Lawson is the solution to either problem of Perez or Ricciardo. Don't get me started. Yeah, I think the solution to the Lawson problem is just put Lawson in one of the cars. There you go. That's that. Very quickly, actually, we'll do a quick run through the result from practice before I answer any more questions before we get to qualifying watching, aren't we? Yes, just to let you know what happened if you missed FP3. George Russell was P1, 35 thousandths away from Lewis Hamilton in second. Lando Norris nearly a couple of tenths back in third place. Carlos Sainz was fourth, 6 tenths off the fastest time by Russell. Verstappen, fifth place, 8.5 tenths off the fastest time. If you do not like Verstappen and you like seeing him back there, don't get too excited because it was a very odd session with the weather and other things as well. So I don't think George Russell will be 8 tenths clear of Verstappen come the end of qualifying. Maybe the other way, but not that one. Leclerc, 6th place, 9 tenths off. 7th place was Piastri, who's 1.1 off. I'm going to stop saying that now because it doesn't matter what the distance was in the end. Fernando Alonso, 8th. Sergio Perez in 9th, who was actually pretty good in FP2. So hopefully better than that later today. Hulkenberg 10th, Albon 11th, Stroll 12th, Sargeant in 13th. Williams actually look like they got some pace at the moment in these conditions. Tsunoda 14th, Bottas 15th, Ocon 16th, Magnussen 17th, Ricciardo down in 18th, Zhou in 19th, and Pierre 20th. He ended up in the gravel actually in FP3, and he will start from the pit lane anyway because he's got a load of, I think, 50 penalty points. 50 penalties, that's a bit much. Not true at all. 50 place grid drop is what I'm saying for a change of all sorts of power unit components. So he will be starting. I'm sure it's a pit lane start, but at least from the back. But I think it is a pit lane start for Gasly tomorrow. So whatever he does, doesn't matter, does it? So yeah, that's your FP3 round. Also, I've got to say, I was going to do this at start, but I thought I'd start with driver market talk, do FP3 first, just because you're probably sick of hearing about it. But I did want to mention the incident in Austria and more our reaction to it on Sunday. I just got a few comments that are a little bit snarky on the stream, and just to remind people, I know most of you that are here will get this, the reactions are a reaction. We go live relatively quickly after the race. We're basing everything that we talk about on what we saw live and the replays live, and sometimes I can squeeze some analysis in from, say, Anthony Davidson, for example, but largely it's based on everything that happened as we watched it, heat of the moment. When you actually step away, which I do, on a Monday and a Tuesday, and look back at the weekend, and I watched some stuff back yesterday as well, and some onboards, you sort of look at it and you go, yeah, maybe that's a little bit, maybe we all looked at it a little bit too harshly, and there's not a lot in it. And yes, obviously the penalty, fair enough. The contact itself was just nothing, was it? It was just one of those things. Another day, nothing even happens there. It's just a bump off the track and that's it. But I think with the benefit of 6 days worth of hindsight, I'm going to be one of those that sits here and says, I think it's all a bit of a storm in a teacup. But that hasn't stopped Sky Sports doing nothing but talk about it all weekend so far. And it's not stopped large chunks of the media in the UK talking about how trash Max Verstappen is, how crap he is, and how awful he is as a human being, and he's a spawn of Satan and all of this. But it was interesting after the press conferences when the drivers came out and sort of said, defended Max a bit and defended Lando, and Lando and Max have sort of buried the hatchet and put it behind them now, that all of a sudden the media did switch and start sort of going, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal. It's all fine now. They're all fret. I think, oh, shut up. You stick to your guns. Stick to your guns, for goodness sake. But that was all I wanted to talk about. I don't think it's worth mentioning anymore now. It's all been dealt with. They're fine with it. The drivers have put it behind them. It was a nothing incident, really. When you look at some of the stuff some of the stuff we've seen in F1 over the years, it's sort of like whatever. But yeah, that's it. The other thing as well, actually, final thing, which is what I was supposed to be talking about, when we were talking about Max coming across and looking as though he was forcing Norris onto the grass or blocking him, a lot of people pointing out he's getting off the racing line. You can see some of that in the replays, and I've got to think as well, which I wish I picked up on Sunday, because I wouldn't normally pick up on that. You've got damage to the left side of the car. Are you crabbing a little bit and moving over? Is it deliberate? So I don't think there's anything in it in the end. So just let's move on. Stefan said, I knew when they crashed that with Silverstone coming next week, it would be a disaster. He could end world hunger tomorrow and he'd still be the villain on Sky TV. He's been the villain on Sky TV since. It reminds me a lot of the... I suppose there are some parallels, actually. Yeah, maybe with the Schumacher Schumacher on the BBC. Jonty's here. He'll back me up on this, and a few others will, I'm sure, as well. Michael Schumacher could do no right. And I believe had Michael Schumacher fought, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head now. Somebody else that wasn't British for the title in 1994 and 95, they probably absolutely love him. We'll talk about him very differently. And I think if Max Verstappen has that collision with a Pierre Gasly or a Kevin Magnussen or Charles Leclerc, then Sky drop it 10 minutes after it's happened because it's not with a British driver. It's one of the reasons I've always struggled to get behind British drivers, not as a dislike for them, but because I know the media over here are pathetic. To quote Helmut Marko, pathetic when it comes to British drivers and English sports stars and British sports stars. It's just, yeah, they can do no wrong. They're all wonderful. Or most of them. So yeah, no, you're right, Stefan, and hello. Hope you're all right, mate. Good to see you on the stream again. David says, Lando buried the hatchet and Max said that he was pleased Lando did that. There's no indication that Max did anything to resolve the problem. Well, you know what I mean. It's nobody's really kicking off about it anymore. The drivers have all moved on, including the two involved. But yeah, I think I was looking back at it. The most annoying thing about the weekend is something that is happening a lot at the moment. It's really starting to get on my wick. And I said it to John T as it was happening. I'm so fed. I'm more annoyed at the drivers bitching and moaning over the radio. Like, lads, come on. Just get on with it. And I know maybe it's always been like that. And now that we get all the broadcasts of the radio, maybe that's why it feels worse. But it just feels like it's just constantly, no, he pushed me off. Oh, he did this. So it's like, just race, sort it out. I do agree with Verstappen, by the way, I think that we are over-policing overtaking in F1. That there has to be rubbing is racing. It's a phrase I think that comes from the States. I might be wrong, but it's one that I quite like. I think it's right. You know, yeah, right. Shoving someone in the wall or driving them clean off the track. Yeah, you've got to be jumping in with a penalty or with some kind of sanction there. But I think generally it's a bit of contact, a bit of closing of the gap. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Let's get on to qualifying then. We're not far away. Yes, they are side to canvas. I saw your comment on the preview this morning, talking about Sky. I completely agree there. It's just every other word, isn't it? So, but I want to kind of move on a little bit and get over it. If the drivers are over it, then I think most of us should be. That won't be the case for everybody, I'm sure. But yeah, qualifying. So where do we think Perez will be? Is what ATR wants to know, and Adam Osborne wants to know. Well, last year you all said P8. Last week you all said P8, and you're all right. Do you know what? I'm gonna get a bit of confidence in Checo today. I'm gonna go with P5. Why not? I'm gonna go. Oh, CPB. Yes. No. Oh, balls. CPB says Channel 4's coverage of F1. I forgot Channel 4 covered the British Grand Prix live. I should have been watching that all this time rather than Sky. Thank you very much. Alexandros says, don't move on from the media coverage. It's important stuff. We can talk about it later or another day if you want, Alexandros. Because I'm very aware that we're 3 minutes away from the music kicking in and then 8 minutes away from quali, so I don't want to spend... Because I could quite easily complain about the British media just generally, constantly. I was watching election night on Thursday night because I have no life, and I was watching it all night, and some of the coverage was just diabolical. It was so bad, and that's on our politics. So imagine what that'd be like for the American elections or whatever, or other things going on in the world. It drives me mad anyway. But yeah, it's just the way they operate over here. Stefan says P8 is already locked in. Fair enough. C64 says Logie starts with pole. Cited Canvas says Perez will be where he needs to be. Fair enough. Yeah. Thoughts I looked cute. Might delete myself later. Well, it says will it be raining during quali? 50% chance is what I saw. So I would say that's it. Either will or it won't. But it's one of those weekends. It's the British summer. It's cold. It's wet. The sun will come out and you'll go, oh, that's lovely. Oh, it'll go to 12 degrees and you'll think you're in Mallorca. You know, it'll be, oh, that's incredible. And then all of a sudden it'll suddenly start chucking it down with rain. It'll be 8 degrees and you'll not know what to do with yourself. So, and that's why we always end up with a flu. It's like that. I did Stefan. She is well, she's crackers. Absolutely nuts. Yes, I did. Quite enjoyed the two of her. I was expecting one of them to jump across the table and let loose on the other, but yeah. It was good stuff. So yeah, I don't know about rain, but we'll see. I'll have a look at the skies when we get to the TV coverage and see what that's looking like, and we'll go from there. But yeah, it's the typical British summer is how it feels. But don't worry, tomorrow, like this time next week, it'll be like 40 degrees or something stupid like that, because that's what we do. But yeah. I'll tell you what, pole position then. That's what we'll do. My prediction for pole, I'm going to stick with it from Thursday. Max Verstappen on pole, and then I've gone with Lando Norris to pip him to the win on Sunday. Who have you got for pole position? I'm going to close the other poll now while you're all letting me know which driver you think will get a pole, the team you think that will get a pole. 41% of you think McLaren, Red Bull 37%, Mercedes 12%, and Ferrari 8%. So let me know who you think is actually going to get the driver you think will get a pole position. So Stefan's gone with Piastri. Thought I looked cute. Went with Piastri pole as well. I'd love to see Aussie P on pole position. He's one of the drivers I back at the moment very much. I do like him a lot, and I'm hoping that he can have a great result today. I'd be surprised if he doesn't make sort of top 4. But I'd probably say top 3 he's got a shot at. Pascal's gone with Sauber for Q2. I've backed Sauber for a point this weekend, Sauber, if they get a bit of rain tomorrow and there's a bit of drama. That'd be cool. Glenn's gone with Lando for P1. John says rain halfway through and shock Hamilton pole. There we go. Pete says, I'm guessing Verstappen couldn't just 3/10 out of nowhere again. Yeah, you've got to remember as well for Verstappen, he's kind of on the brink of an engine penalty, isn't he? So in practice, we don't know how much he's just looking after his power unit, turning it down, and then when we get to qualifying, he can crank it up again where it matters. So it's just worth bearing that in mind with Verstappen, because we still don't know what's happening with that Japanese engine, but I assume it's going to be thrown away. Thought I looked cute. Logan will either make Q2 or end up in the gravel. Yeah, that's fair, Stefan. Stefan just saying, I'm trying not to get too excited about Oscar after we got teased with Ricardo. I feel like he's so close to greatness, just not just there yet. Yeah, he's still a way off full potential, no doubt, but he's still young. Only his second season F1. He's up against quite a strong teammate in Lando Norris, isn't he? So I think I just like him. He seems like a nice lad, which is great. He's got great potential. He's quick, but what he's also got is he feels a little bit old school in his interviews, and you know how I like that. He's very to the point, but he's happy to talk. He's like Kimi Räikkönen in that he's very to the point, but he's unlike Kimi Räikkönen in that he's happy to talk about things. So I do like Oscar Piastri for a lot of reasons, which is awesome. Old head on young shoulders, yes. Says Citizen Arrays. That's what Martin Brundle likes to say quite a lot, isn't it? Yeah. It's good stuff. Max on pole. Lando and Max crash into Cop's corner. Lewis wins. Mercedes 1-2. David Croft creams himself and has an aneurysm. Oh goodness me. CPB. You crackers. I love it. Let's actually thinking about it. Seeing as it is about start for qualifying, we're 3 minutes away from the start. We better get the timing, everything set up, hadn't we? Otherwise, this could be quite an interesting experiment. How do we do a watch along without timing? It could be a lot of fun to work that one out. So I'm just gonna get everything set up and then we'll go over to the watch on screen. Based on a bit of feedback last week, I'll try and make the track map a little bit bigger. But just a reminder that the request from Multiviewer is that we don't have everything on the screen as data, which is why I've got a little picture that'll be in there as well in a moment. So I'll try and keep it a reasonable size. So I'm sticking to the rules really, because the live timing that we're using, it's up to date. There's no real delay. It looks great as well. So let's see if I can get this working. It should be okay. Just need to make sure it's just catching up with the live. My internet isn't the best at the moment for some reason either, which is funny actually. It's not great the day after I renewed my contract. Work that out. It was all fine, and then all of a sudden it's gone to pot. So let's hopefully the stream will be okay. It won't drop out, but I think we're good. There we go. And I think all being well, when we go to the watch on screen now, we are working. Oh, that's not, so close with the track map. So close. That's annoying. Let me just shrink that down a little bit. Just so we are a bit more. Yes, you can see me set the studio. I can't do this in the studio mode. It's too small and my eyesight's terrible because I'm an old man. There we go. We're working. We have it all going. So that's good stuff. Looking forward to this one. So, yeah. John, if I tell you, John, so you'll tell me off because you told me not to when we last spoke about internet. So you'll shout at me. So I'm scared now. Warren says Shaw's internet is like Perez after signing a contract. Rude. I don't know who I'm more offended for there. Poor Checo. I've been a bit, I'll be honest, I've been a bit brutal on Sergio Perez lately, but just purely because I'm saying nothing there, Johnson. Definitely not. Only because a lot of people criticise me for defending him too much. So I've been sort of overly harsh on him. So I'm hoping for a good weekend just so that I don't have to be quite so harsh. Do you know, my stream on the studio, let me just refresh that because the stream on the studio is about 5 minutes behind. There we go. That's fine. Yeah, sorry. I don't know what was going on there. Yeah. Well, the thing is, Jonty, with Virgin, very, very quickly, they are the best in our area in terms of reliability. And they are the best in terms of speeds as well, which sounds bonkers, but it is Lincolnshire. So just bear that in mind. We are green for qualifying. Qualifying 1 is underway. Here we go. Let's see. We have got a car on track, and we've got a few cars on track. Sargeant, Bottas, Zhou, and Ocon. So hopefully we'll get some good laps on the board now. Keep your questions and comments coming throughout the session. Obviously, get updates as well, but just a reminder, no on-track footage for obvious copyright reasons. In fact, Gary's back this week. He can let you know that for a second while we wait for the laps to come in. And lifetime provided by Multiview for F1. Definitely go check them out. Links in the description. They're fantastic. You can set up your own streams and everything at home. Lots of stuff. Lots of data. Just data everywhere. Data everywhere. Just numbers like the Matrix in front of me. It's brilliant. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe as well if you're new. Leave a like on the stream as well. 25 likes, 224 of you here. Let's get that over 100 as quickly as possible. That'd be fantastic. So please do drop a like and subscribe. We've got the race reaction tomorrow with Stuart. Shortly after the Grand Prix. I think about 6 p.m. Because it starts an hour later in the UK, so 6 p.m. for the stream tomorrow. But obviously, I will give you chat updates and everything from the session. We've got the live timing, so keep your questions coming in, and we can talk F1 and enjoy this together. And if you don't know what a watch along is, I'll say it again. Just imagine being down the pub with your mates watching Formula One, or if you've got 230 people on your sofa. That's a big sofa, to be fair. A very big sofa. So we've got lots of cars on track now. Pretty much, I think, with cars in the pit lane, getting towards just about everybody out on track. Are the Haas aren't out there, are they? Haas is. CPB says, Jonty, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much did Richard Branson care about his Virgin F1 racing project? I'll let Jonty answer it, but I just thought I'd read the question because it's quite funny. I forgot that Richard Branson, because he sponsored Brawn for a while, didn't he? In their title-winning year. Yeah, both McLarens out there now. I'm just going to turn the sound up so I can hear commentary. I'm not going to change the channel now, but I will definitely watching the race on Channel 4 tomorrow because it'll be Alex Jakes wearing it, so it should be better. But Hamilton winding up for a lap then. Sargeant obviously purple in the first sector. Enjoy that moment. Not anymore. He's not. Bottas is, because he's first to set a lap is Sargeant. He's got a good bit of clearish track. Piastri just ahead of him, but should be good. Lewis Hamilton currently we're watching at the moment on TV. He's coming through turn 3 and into the loop at 4 and 5. I will use corner numbers and names just to mix it up because I keep forgetting. You know what I meant, Max. You know what I meant. Don't you start. Hey, Jonathan. Good to see you. Says love from Texas as always. Good to see you, mate. I hope you're having a good one today. What time is it where you are? I'm not very good with. I'm not very good with Texas time. I know New York time is about as exciting and as good as I get. With timings over in the US, I get a bit confused. I struggle with our own time zone sometimes, let alone everybody else's. So Hamilton coming down towards Cops now, which is turn number 9. I said it like that. Just coming through there quite nicely now. Decent first sector. Russell's beating him, though, by a couple of tenths of a second. Sargeant goes fastest on 140.215. Everyone in Inter, so it's still a damp track, but it looks from the footage. Oh, Hamilton wide there. Just coming into Chapel. Yeah. Interesting. But yeah, it looks like we're going to get we'll be on slicks fairly soon. Certainly by the next session, unless any rain falls, because that dry line is there. So I think it won't be long before on the slicks. Somebody will gamble at the end of this session if it's not quite dry enough, guaranteed. As he comes through the final couple of corners now to set his time, it will be... it's quite damp on there, actually. No, maybe not. maybe still away off 6 just yet. 137.7, Ocon on 139.0. Russell's going to come across the line and beat that, I imagine. Over the line he goes. No, not quite. 137.8. 4 100ths between them, so nice and close. 9 a.m. in Texas, apparently. 37.5 from Max Verstappen. So nice. Get yourself a coffee, Jonathan. Nice and early. F1. Do you know what? I love it. I love it when we have races in China and Japan and Australia, because F1 just hits differently with breakfast. I don't know why, it just does. It just always has. It's one of my favourite times of years when we get the early morning races here in the UK. I actually prefer morning or late rather than middle of the day, but unfortunately most of the calendar is middle of the day. So there you go. I'm just never happy is what I'm saying, which is about right. 13 minutes to go. We're watching Lando Norris here. His first sector was a 30.9 and a 39.7 in the middle sector. So we'll see what he's going to do. I might change my timing to a different screen actually, because that's get the best sections up as well, but also I might do that in between sessions, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What's Norris going to do then? So Verstappen is fastest 137.5, Piastri 138.2 into 5th place. Perez is 6th at the moment, and round comes Norris to do a 137.51. 607. Timing went mad there. 607 to move into 2nd place. 89 thousandths. 9 100ths, if you want to call it that, just off the fastest time from Verstappen so far. Charles Leclerc coming through. What's he going to do here? Watching a replay. Inside right lock-up, and he's wide, very wide at what would have been turn 3. So you'll have to do that lap again, or try again for Leclerc. Let's not do this today, Ferrari. Come on. I'm not having this. Mike says you can always eat some toast in the afternoon if you want. That's true. I could move breakfast to lunchtime, but is it still breakfast? That's the question. Yeah, that's the question. That's. There are a lot of clouds in the sky, by the way. Some very dark clouds. I don't know which way they're moving, but they are hanging over the circuit. So I think we are going to get some rain in this session. I would be very surprised if we don't get even a bit of drizzle. There are definitely clouds in the sky. I mean, obviously, but you know what I mean. Really dark clouds hanging over the circuit, and some areas look like they're about to get a bit of rain, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Round the final corner comes Carlos Sainz over the line. He goes on a 138.511. 511. Bottas, what's he doing? What are the Saubers doing? Because Pascal's here. We want to make sure he knows. 139.7 for Bottas in 15th, and Joe in 12th, 139.3. So decent, a solid lap there from Joe. See what he can do. Personal best first sector at the moment, so he is improving. Bottas is not improving in the middle sector. Did improve in the first. What's he going to do? Bottas is pissed. Bottas abandoning that one. Aurora wants to know if I'm in the UK. Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm in Lincoln in the UK. Woo, Lincoln. Yeah. In the UK for my sins. Black pudding, Jonathan, it's blood pudding. It's I think it's called blood pudding in the US. I think is it usually. I'm not going to describe it because it sounds disgusting, but I can assure you it tastes really good. Google it and you'll be horrified if you've never had it before or heard of it before. But it is very nice. It is near Louth, Glen. I lived in Louth pretty much all my life. I was born in Grimsby. Lived it because obviously we didn't have a hospital that did birth in Louth. Lived in Louth until 2010 when I moved to Boston. Then I moved to Lincoln. My whole family's in Louth. That's my hometown. So, moved to Lincoln. No worries, Jonathan. Over the line goes. Jonathan's off to vomit. Alonso over the line into P9. 1.2 seconds off the pace. His time was a 1:38.356. Lance Stroll across the line for 7th. Stroll's really been decent lately, by the way. I know he gets a lot of stick, but he's been all right. I don't know if it's as Bottas and Leclerc go out on the soft tyres, by the way. Yeah. I'm just trying to look at Stroll's stats. Yeah, so he's been impressive. I don't know if it's because Alonso's dropped off a little bit with the difficulties with the car, trying to get that right, or whether Stroll has just stepped it up. Possibly a mixture of the both. We'll find out in time, I'm sure. What is Piastri going to do over the line now? He's out there on the inters, but I think we are moving towards dry tyres. We've got Leclerc out there. I'll keep an eye on his time, actually, and Bottas as well. Yeah, Lincoln's nice to visit. Lincoln is nice to visit. We've got a lot of stuff here that's nice to have a look around. Glenn says, cool. Where are you from, Glenn? Just out of interest. Just being nosy. Why not? I'll ask the question back. Yeah, sites to sites, because we are moving to soft tyres now, so this could get interesting. Yeah, that's my read. I'm not sure. I think it's a bit of both, to be honest. Oh, Dave. I know the name Dave Simpson. I'll have a look for him. I'll go check Facebook. I've been on there for ages, but I'll go check that in a bit and see if that's what I'm thinking of. But yeah, that's cool. Good to know. Cute little town. Bit stuck in the past, but it's all right. Sydney. Nice, Glenn. Jealous. Bet it's a bit warmer there today than it is here. Right, let's see. So Bottas is on the softs. Let's see what he can do with his lap times. This is where it's going to get interesting now. Leclerc and Bottas. So Leclerc did a 31.0, which is 7 tenths quicker than Magnussen ahead did on the Inters. So that's interesting. Keep an eye on that one. As soon as they start going purple, those clouds are lingering. But as soon as it starts going purple, that's when everyone will be on them, no doubt whatsoever. I've got a yellow flag out there. It's Perez. In the gravel, I assume. Oh, Perez has binned it. Oh, Checo, I was trying to big you up before the session, and he is out. He's beached it well and truly on the exit of Cops. Red flag. Game over, Sergio Perez. He will not... no, he's not getting out of Q1 from there. Unless it rains, he needs it to rain. Not that he can then take part in Q2, but he needs it to rain now, otherwise he is out of Q1. Sergio Perez, all the pressure back on him again, despite that contract. And he is in the gravel. By the way, just to make a point here, his crash helmet this weekend, I love it. It's a real flashback to the old, I think Sebastian Vettel had one, others did as well. A lot of the Red Bull Juniors had sort of the blue and sort of grey silver split, and I think it looks great. I really, really like that helmet this weekend, so shame. Verstappen's about to go out, so he is going to get wheeled back to the garage. But Perez, yeah, we have a red flag. I could better put the red flag out, really, hadn't I? There we go. We have a red flag, 7 minutes and 30 to go. Lots of action still to come in this Q1, but Sergio Perez is in the gravel. Vesk straight in, sights to Red Bull went. He's crashed at Cops. We'll wait for it, or not crashed, he spun and beached it. Jonty said he called it. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see what happens here. I want to replay. I'm guessing he's on a soft tyre, so I'm guessing caught a damp patch or a white line, spun it into the gravel, beached it, and that's it. He's definitely littled the rear to try and get out. You can see the holes he's dug for himself there. Yeah, but so now what Perez really needs is for Ricciardo to join him in there in the next when the session starts again, because the pressure's on. If you didn't join us for the first part of the stream, we've got the rumours flying around that despite the fact that he signed a 1+1 contract, the pressure is on again, and Ricciardo is being touted as a possibility for that seat if Perez doesn't step up and Ricciardo can continue his upturning form, quote. There you go. I think Perez wants a push, but I don't think Perez is going to get a push. The recovery vehicle's there. I'm not sure what the rule is. He says all I need is to be pushed back onto the tarmac. We're going. I can't remember what the rule is here. Is he allowed to continue if he's had help, or is that in the race you're not allowed to continue? I'm not sure. Well, no, because Lewis Hamilton in 2007 was in the gravel at... That was a long time ago, but was in the gravel at the Nürburgring, wasn't he? And he was lifted out by a tractor and then got going again. So, yeah. Yeah. Oh, dear, Sergio Perez. Again, so frustrating. But, you know, we can't do anything, can we? If you're a big Checo fan, there's nothing you can do. Just have to hope he can turn it around. There's nothing really Red Bull can do. Perez isn't here. Perez is here. He says Chamber, I swear to God. Other way around. Chamber's here. Hey, Stuart, I hope you're all right, mate. Looking forward to our chat tomorrow. Hopefully a cracking race with lots of rain and drama. We're just going to watch a replay now of Perez into Cops. Oh, he's got a snap on the way in. Looked like oversteer, I would say. And then he's gone onto the tarmac, which is obviously soaking wet through. And I'm guessing as they spin this on the sky pad, he's just going to go straight into a spin. There he goes. Round he goes. Yep. And in the gravel. And then we'll light up the rears and he's beached. Quite a... Yeah, really big snap, which means he has to run into the runoff area, which normally wouldn't be a problem. And then he has dropped it as he's tried to get going again. So, actually a bit scruffier than I thought that was going to be. I thought it was just going to turn in, catch a damp patch and spin. But, so they got that snap, ran wide into the tarmac. It's very, very wet out there. And then a big slide. Thank you, Stuart. See you tomorrow. Hey, have a good... Enjoy quali. I'm sure there'll be some tweets, definitely. Yeah, so that's all. So yeah, again, he's got the snap into the runoff, wet runoff, tries to keep going, spins it in the gravel, lights up the rears and he's beached. So that is it. That is it for Sergio Perez. He will not. He's out the car, shaking his head. He will not be taking part in quali. He's P10 at the moment, but even if he gets through, he'll still be P15. What we're watching a replay of here: Verstappen into the pits. Off go the inters, on go the softs. Oh, no, that was Perez. Sorry, was that Perez? I'm not sure. Yeah, it was a Red Bull. Yeah. So the best he can hope for is 15th. But I would be very surprised, unless there is a very dark cloud they're showing on his onboard there, looking back up towards Cops. Quite a dark. So unless it absolutely pours it down, I would expect Alonso, Sainz, Tsunoda definitely to improve. Ocon, Gasly probably. Hulkenberg definitely. So that count as mechanical assistants wouldn't be allowed to rejoin. So even if the stewards are going to push, he wouldn't be allowed to rejoin. So Daniel Ricciardo here's interesting. Daniel Ricciardo runs wide at Cops as well. We're just watching his onboard now, and he doesn't spin on the wet bit. He won't quite out as far as Perez, to be fair, but the director knows what they're doing there, definitely. Drivers queue at the end of the pit lane. First one out will be Valtteri Bottas. We are about to go green. I can't reach the stream deck because I've put it too far away today for some reason. Oscar Piastri is sat there. I think this will be quite a busy 7 minutes, so I'll do my best to keep up with everything that I can. I'll try and keep it in chat as well, but if I don't come to you, don't worry. While we're waiting, please do drop a like. We're halfway to 100, 389 of you here. Please do leave a like. That would be fantastic. It's free. Doesn't take a second, doesn't cost anything, which is what free means, Sean. Well done. But also, it really helps the channel out a ridiculous amount in the algorithm. So every like is appreciated. So please do drop one. And subscribe as well if you fancy it. Feel free if you don't want to, but if you want to, please do hit that subscribe button as well. We're live tomorrow after the race with the race reaction. Of course, we'll have everything the same for Hungary and Belgium as well. And I'm sure there'll be stuff in between too. But yeah, some interesting times coming up for the channel, I think. So worth subscribing. But then I would say that I'm biased, aren't I? Team Mercedes now starting to queue in the pit lane. At the moment, according to AWS, Hamilton is fastest through the high-speed corners. Verstappen second, Russell third, Norris fourth, and Piastri in fifth. It's raining. It is raining. Hats and coats, which won't be taken off by many, starting to go on. So it is starting to rain. So now, this is going to be a rush to get the laps in. This is interesting, yes. Yeah, it is starting to rain, and they're all in there, sat letting their tyres cool down in the queue. So who hasn't come out? So Verstappen's in the garage, I think. Sargeant and Albon in the garage. So that could be quite a smart call from them, because they'll have some nice, hot, soft tyres. But of course, as well, if it comes down heavily enough to need the inters, they can go straight on the inters while everybody else has to come round and put the inters on. But I'm just looking at lap times. A lot of times out there now on the softs, which weren't really any quicker in terms of their sector times. They're a bit quicker, not massively. So this could be interesting. John says, stolen from Twitter, only thing Perez is going to win this weekend is a game of spin the P45. That's from Connor's F1. Yeah. Oh, dear. Let's see. Yeah, so Checo could still end up 15th here, but of course he won't be able to take part in Q2. So 15th is his only hope, is this rain is heavy enough that nobody improves. Actually, his best hope is that it rains heavy enough that the session never restarts. They can't squeeze it in tomorrow morning and he starts P10. It's his only hope, I suppose. I'll try to look at positives for Checo for a change. Yeah, no. Do you know what? CP? I don't actually think that the driver, if one of the reasons, as people rumour as we get going now, is really starting to rain, but if this rumour about how Sainz isn't going to get that seat at Red Bull for one of the reasons being that Carlos Sainz Sr. and Jos Verstappen can't get on, then you kick the dads out of the garage and tell them to stop being so pathetic and grow up. It's their sons that matter, not them. So that would be my response, not to you, CPB, but just in general to the whole situation. If I don't know if that is the reason, it's just a rumour that keeps popping around. Those clouds are going to drop quite a bit of rain, and they're going to stick around for a while. But yeah, I just think if Jos Verstappen and Carlos Sainz Sr. can't get on, then they could just be asked to leave, can't they? And that'll be that. So rain from turn 7. So what are we going to... Is this going to get interesting? No, I agree, Vesk. I've long said that I can't understand why Sainz wasn't a more serious contender for the Red Bull seat. And if it is just the dad's thing, then goodness me. I'm sure it isn't. There'll be more to it. But we'll see what happens there. So we've got cars on out laps. Bottas, Zhou, Magnussen, the first 3. I do love, by the way, how Perez's car is still on the track map, but really small on the exit of Copse. If you are watching and you spotted that, he's not still there. His car is, but it'll be the other side of the barrier now. But yeah. Mr. Carter says, what is so hard to understand? They'll be fighting each other and losing points. They need a number 2 driver, not a number 1. Yeah, but Mr. Carter, come on. You can't call Perez a number 2 driver when he's qualifying 18th on a weekend and not scoring big points. You know, Rubens Barrichello was a number 2 driver, but he was still 2nd, 3rd, 4th consistently behind. I totally get your point. I totally agree. They don't want someone that's going to come in and beat Verstappen, but I don't think Sainz would go in there and beat Verstappen anyway. And even if they do take a few points off each other, it's still probably going to score more than they're getting with Perez at the moment. So I totally get the point. I totally take the point, and I agree in some ways, but I'm just not... Whoever's in that second seat alongside Verstappen, I don't think will match Verstappen because that's very much his team. And I don't really... I'd rather have someone that's going to score some points than who is just going to keep sticking it in the gravel or not performing on a weekend. That's my take. Yeah, Bottas was number 2 driver. He had a shocking year in 2018, but generally was up there. Remember that the meme was it Hambot Ver? I get the point, but I don't think Perez is doing nothing. But Bottas, he's got purple in the first sector. The rain isn't too bad then through that first sector. Comfortably purple as well, actually. A really good lap putting together here, Bottas. But everyone else is going to be improving. So what we need, and Pascal's going to be crossing his fingers, if Bottas goes fastest here, he wants just a massive deluge. And then no one else can set a quick time. And Bottas ends up on pole somehow. 3.3 seconds up. Is Bottas on Hamilton's time in the second sector. So he's absolutely flying here. So the soft tyres are the tyres. Zhou's 3 seconds up. So definitely the soft tyres are still the right tyre to be on with 4.5 minutes to go. We'll see what happens over the course of the rest of this session. Yeah, it was chunks of last season as well, Mr. Carter. Again, I'm not falling out with you over it. I'm just saying that, you know, there are lots of reasons that those are the reasons behind it, but you know there were chunks of last season. Perez was dreadful as well. 32.4 for Bottas, 32.9 for Zhou. Where are we looking? Who's the next one across the line? Hulkenberg's going to be next across the line. What's he going to do? So the times are going to keep improving here unless the rain really good. 31.9 for Hulkenberg. That's a good lap for a first one straight out of the pits. I'm impressed with that one. Round comes Alonso's going to be next, I think, and Stroll as well. Stroll only goes on to 37.7. Alonso 32.3. Pit lane incident between Alonso and Stroll noted. Piastri goes... The 2 Aston Martins, isn't it? Yeah, Alonso and Stroll. That's weird. Piastri 130.8. Norris 131.5. They are now the top 2. Piastri P1. And off goes Max Verstappen. Has he rejoined? Yes, he has. Pressure on Verstappen here. Is somebody else? Is it raining heavy? It's too heavy. Is it? Hamilton across the line. It's getting wetter. It's a 32.1. Sainz being told we need this lap. Yeah, I think he knows that one. It's chucking it down now. Cars are struggling to stay on the track, including Verstappen. Verstappen's down the 11th place here, but times are not... Verstappen's first sector was very quick, 28.8. I'm trying to work out who's going to be next across the line, but I think this is going to be... These laps are going to be needed. I don't think Verstappen's going to get one in. Where is he? he's about to start another flight. He's going to have to get it here. Ricciardo goes 9th on a 1:36.2. Across the line goes Sainz on a 35.9. So, yeah, it's getting damp. Getting slippery. Because the times are not improving at the moment. It's a McLaren 1-2, Hulkenberg 3rd. What can Leclerc do as he crosses? He's currently P15. Bit of a twitch in the final corner. Only goes 10th, the 1:36.1. Verstappen's in danger here. Verstappen's in a lot of trouble here. So what's happened? Is it down at Cops? It is down at Cops. So he's coming down there now. Is it similar to Perez? Oh, he gets a slightly bigger snap over the tarmac and then into the gravel, but keeps it planted. Finds that little bit of runoff on the exit. He says rain. Or shit rain, I think is what he said over the radio there. But big bumping. Has that done any damage to the car? That's the big question. But he does get the tarmac on the other side, so he's able to sort of rejoin from there. But yeah, Max Verstappen in bother here. What did Magnussen do? Has he done the same? No, he almost followed somebody ahead of him, and he's done the same as Verstappen. Almost spun it, but kept it going. Well done, K-Mag. But I don't know. So Verstappen's out there. Verstappen does 29.1 in the first sector, which is quicker than Piastri. So the first sector seems okay, unless I'm reading that wrong. Middle sector's improvement, 36.9. He needs this for Verstappen. He's coming up to Ricciardo at turns 16 and 17, who's also trying to improve. So the timing screens have gone crazy. I think Sainz has lost his time. Sainz is 17th. So Verstappen goes 3rd. Verstappen is through. What does Sainz do? Sainz goes 2nd. 1:31.4. This is chaotic. I have no idea what's happening. Albon, Perez, Tsunoda, Gasly, and Sargeant, bottom 5. Not just in qualifying, in life, by the way. No idea what's happening. But it is, yeah. It's Cops. What is Leclerc going to do? He goes 9th. Anybody out there doing laps has got a shot at getting through here. And that sounds really stupid. But the track seems to be improving again now because Stroll's done a 1:31.4 to go 2nd. This is the kind. I love it when we get wet and dry qualifying sessions, a mix. Albon goes 2nd, 1:31.1. So the track seems to be improving now as these tyres cut to temperature. Maybe some of the rain stopping. Other parts of the track are drier. Sargeant goes 6th. Logan, steady on. We get a nosebleed. 31.6 for Logan. Sargeant up in P6. Hamilton is going fastest in the middle sector. What can he do? Alonso over the line here. He goes up into 3rd place. 31.2. We've got Tsunoda, Ocon, Ricciardo, Perez, and Gasly in the bottom 5. Hamilton now goes fastest on a 29.5. So the track is improving. Tyres are getting nice and warm. This is cracking. Loving this. Over the line goes Russell in P2, 1:30.1. Tsunoda purple in the first sector. Tsunoda's flying. Verstappen's having to improve. He's trying to improve. Ricciardo's trying to improve. Nobody's safe here. In that sort of bottom... So from driver risk up for the next 5 places. Ricciardo goes 6th. Verstappen only 7th. Sainz goes up to 3rd place. It wasn't that long ago. He was going 2nd and he's now jumped back up to 3rd place. So this is, Sargeant down to 11th. Leclerc and Magnussen on the bubble here. 14th Leclerc, 15th for Magnussen. Can Leclerc improve enough? He needs this. Come on, Charles. He goes 3rd. What can Zhou Guanyu do? Tsunoda's on a cracking lap here. Zhou goes 7th on a 1:30.1. But let's wait for Yuki here. Traffic, they've got out of the way. Tsunoda, he's got a shot at maybe top 5 here, maybe even better. Or twitch through the final corner as well. Over the line he goes. 6th place, not bad for Tsunoda at all, 1:30.9. And I think, trying to keep it, that was fun. I think we're done. And we have lost Pierre Gasly in 20th place. He was starting in the pit lane, I think, anyway. Sergio Perez is 19th after all of that shook out. Ocon 18th. Kevin Magnussen 17th. Valtteri Bottas in 16th place. The results, Hamilton 1st. Russell 2nd. Leclerc 3rd. Sainz 4th. Piastri in 5th place. 6th place for Tsunoda. 7th for Albon. 8th place for Zhou Guanyu, 9th for Fernando Alonso, 10th for Ricciardo, 11th for Verstappen, got through despite that off at Cops, 12th for Stroll, 13th for Norris, 14th for Logan Sargeant, cracking lap when he needed it, and 15th place for Nico Hulkenberg. So just to confirm, we've lost Bottas, Magnussen, Ocon, Perez, and Gasly. Ocon said the only lap I had to push was the lap where it was wet. Unbelievable. So there we go. Whew, that was a bit of chaos. I enjoyed that. I love these qualifying sessions that are dry and then wet and then wet and then dry, and it just adds so much spice to an already great format. I love it. Hey Marta, Marta's just popping to say hi. I'll rewatch later. Hey, have a good day. Enjoy. No, you're right, Glenn. No Red Bull in the top 10. Verstappen only 11th on a 1:31.342. I don't forget, I think the off at Cops, didn't he? So that's one. Then obviously the first lap he did after that was actually pretty decent. Then his second lap, I think, that would have been without charge possibly. But then if the track's improving a lot, that was great. I enjoyed that. I like how the map looks like marbles falling off the track when they pit. Yeah. Yeah, no, like Marbula 1. It's called that now, isn't it? It used to be... What did it used to be called? Was it the Marble Olympics or something like that? But yeah, Marbula 1 now. Used to really enjoy that channel. And Pete says, yet another Logan Sargeant out qualification of Perez. Yeah, how many is that now? Wow, what a session that was. So yeah, we've lost Bottas, Magnussen, Ocon, Perez, and Gasly. Like, Gasly was done anyway, wasn't he? He was 50 place penalty for all his engine components. Perez in the gravel, so we knew that. So it was really a battle, but was it close? Not really, you know. Bottas was half a second off Hulkenberg. Then you've got Magnussen another half a second back, and then you've got Ocon another 1.5 seconds back. So yeah, it wasn't close in the end, but it would have been interesting what they could have done had they got their laps in, because I feel it's more pace in the Alpine than that. Yeah. I guess the big shock, I'm going to say it, I suppose the big shock from Q1 is the Perez exit, however that came about, but more so because of his pace earlier in the weekend. He seemed like he was on okay pace compared to recent weeks, so disappointed to see him out, but obviously if he's spun it and stuck it in the gravel, then there we go. But yeah, we've got 2 more sessions to go. Q2 coming up in a few minutes. In fact, it will start at 15:34 local time, which is 3 minutes from now. That'll decide who gets into the top 10 shootout, of course, and then we'll see what happens after that for the top 10 shootout, who's going to get pole position. So yeah, the reason I'm sort of arguing about Perez is because there's going to be somebody in chat that goes, how can Perez being knocked out in qualifying be a shock now? But I think just because of his pace earlier in the weekend and also the way it came about, anyone can get caught out in that situation. But then at the same time, Daniel Ricciardo went off straight afterwards and didn't. So Perez did go deeper into the water, to be fair. So yeah, just unfortunate. There is damage to the floor on Verstappen. They're just showing it there on the camera. But yeah, so if you are just tuning in, Perez came into Cops, got a snap-on entry, then ran into the runoff areas after correction, which is normal. That would normally be fine. Then because it was so wet out there, he was on the dry tyres. The car spun, and he ended up in the gravel and then beached it, and that was that. So he couldn't have a push out. He did ask for one, but that would be against the regulations because that would have been mechanical assistance, so you couldn't have rejoined. So there we go. There we go. Yeah. I'm not getting into that conversation with people. We're not doing that. If you don't want to argue amongst yourselves with it, that's absolutely fine, but I'm not getting into that conversation. I am of an age now where I'm really bored of reading on social media, insert driver here is washed or finished. Ooh. That's going to be disqualification for Lance Stroll. No doubt at all. He's exited the pit lane after the red lights come on. That's that, yeah. That happened in Q1. All I was going to say was, yeah, I'm getting really fed up of the whole such and such is washed, or they're past it, or they're finished, or they're overrated, and then nobody actually following up with a decent, coherent, fair, and reasonable argument that's been well researched. So I don't get it. Was it's because of Liam. It was on the Planet F1 video I did. Somebody turned around and said, "Oh, Lawson's overrated," but there was no follow-up. There was no explanation as to why they thought that or any evidence to support it. So now when I see that, I just go, oh, all right, whatever, and roll my eyes. And you think what you want, and that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, but I like reasoned arguments on those things. I've watched a lot of Liam Lawson's junior career, and I watched him in Super Formula. I know he's not overrated at all. But then I don't think anyone's talking about World Championships with Liam Lawson. So on board with Stroll then in the pit lane in Q1. So they drop him off the jacks, and as he reaches, before he gets to the line, the red light comes on. Absolutely. I unless I misunderstand the rules, I think that's disqualification, isn't it? It's a black flag in the race if you leave the pit lane when the red light is on. They might give him some sort of, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, Teneman says Russell is washed. Oh no, wait, it's just sweat. Very good. I like that. I'll let you have that. We are green for Q2. Let's see what happens now. Please, by the way, don't forget to drop a like. We're nearly at 100. I'd love these to get over like 200 if we could. Last week's didn't do very well in general, so it'd be good to get some love on these so that I keep doing them and it makes it worth it. I quite enjoy just sitting and chatting to you all. What is the condition on the track? They're all going out on dries, so it's sort of in the last session, normal grip conditions according to race control. Just popped up on the feed, so it's sort of last session. If you didn't see it, you may have done, but they were on the inters, then ended up on the slicks, and the rain came, they stayed on the slicks, and they managed to improve. So the track was improving towards the end, so I would say it's dry enough for slicks now, but there's a lot of clouds in the sky, black clouds, so we'll see what happens. Warren says it's amazing how many times Lawson's won on debut when he steps up a series. Yeah, it was I can't remember what the numbers are, I forgot the numbers, but it was the first driver in Super Formula history to win on their debut. And he was the first driver to win on their open-wheel Japanese racing debut for half a century. That's not you don't walk into Super Formula and just win on debut. It just doesn't happen. If you've not seen Super Formula, you can watch it. Honest to God, it is so competitive. It is a brilliant series and it is well worth watching. So if you get the chance, Steph, I think Ian Mwasa's racing over there this year. He's done a really great job as well, actually. This season, I think he's in the title hunt. So. And Lawson, by the way, beat his two-time champion teammate by half a point as well over the course of the season. But anyway, he's overrated. 13 minutes coming up to left in this session now. Drivers just on out laps. Looks like we're going to get Albon is going to be first. Set a lap here. We'll see what he can do. Over the line, yep, Albon's going to be first, followed by Logan Sargeant. Yes, he is in Q2, if you're just tuning in. Logan Sargeant, bless him. Been a few weekends now where I've been impressed with him on a Saturday. And maybe either the pressure's on and he's trying to impress, or the rumours of a move to IndyCar being already agreed. Maybe the pressure's off him a little bit now, so he's trying to impress and can relax a little bit. I don't know, but he's coming up to turn 4. He's got Norris ahead of him. I assume Norris will hop out of the way. Albon coming down to Luffield now. Yeah, there's a nice dry line. Offline, it's still quite damp. Obviously, off the track itself, very wet, so they need to keep it within the white lines, generally speaking. But yeah. But no rain at the moment. We'll keep an eye on it, see what happens. We'll see what happens. It's the British summer. I keep saying it. By the way, I'm very aware. I will say this. I'm very aware other countries have rain too. You wouldn't believe it. The Sky coverage just talking like nobody else in the world knows what rain is. Everyone knows what rain is. Crafty, chill out. We're not the only ones, but for some reason here, it just a wet Silverstone is always a good Silverstone, unless you're trying to get out the car park of an Easter weekend. I mean, who's called Bernie? That was terrible. Yes, I noticed that as well. The Robert, the graphic in the bottom right where it normally says the turn 16, turn 17, now it's turn 17 or whatever, and then the corner number, so turn 18 club. So I quite like that as well. But Albon over the line, 1:27.983. I don't know why I said it like that, but I did. Max Verstappen, hopefully a bit less of a stressful Q2 for him. Sargeant at 1:29.4, just have been singing his praises, 1.5 seconds slower than his teammate. Thanks for that, Logie. So yeah, Verstappen 300ths up on Albon. Stroll does a 28.1. Alonso goes fastest on a 27.6. Max has got a friend at Silverstone this weekend, said the campsites were absolutely caked in mud, had to essentially walk through a mud river to get to the track in the morning. Yeah, they might need a tractor by Sunday to pull them out of the car park, to be honest, or out of the camping section. Right, what's Verstappen? So Verstappen is a 10.5 down on Alonso, but it is obviously a personal best second sector. It's his first lap. 27.6. Important to note, quite a few drivers on used tyres. So Piastri, Albon, Hamilton, Russell, Leclerc, Sainz, and Norris all on used tyres. So is this actually a fresh set for Verstappen? Because if it is, that's a disappointing time, a 1:27.799. Interesting. Sainz a 1:27.5. He is on used tyres. I suppose you still have had a heat cycle put through and whatnot, haven't they? So maybe that's helping there. But 128.2 for Hamilton. Is this going to be one of these sessions where they just stay out for lap after lap after lap and then pit for some fresh softs right at the end, do we think? A proper sort of damp mixed conditions session. Norris, a 127.4. He goes fastest. Tammy says thunder and lightning 3:30 this AM. No one slept and lots of tents flooded. Oh, bloody hell. Maybe it's a good job I couldn't go this year. Hamilton, that's not improving in the first sector. Is he on a flying lap again? I thought he just completed a flying lap unless I was wrong. No, he did. Ooh, a little twitch through cops there on board with Lewis Hamilton. So Norris, Sainz, Piastri, Alonso, Hulkenberg, Verstappen, Albon, Stroll, Hamilton, Tsunoda. Top 10 at the moment. Leclerc, Joe, Ricciardo, Sargeant and Russell at the bottom. He is improving, though, is George Russell on this lap. So John says, I have a feeling we're seeing evidence of teams who have gambled set up for the weather on Sunday. Possibly, yeah. No, good point, because it's... The last time I checked the weather, which is about an hour ago now, the app said that thunderstorms at 3 o'clock, which is lights out. So there might be a few teams that have gambled on wet setup. Good point. Which could be why Joe ended up 8th. But it was dry towards the end, wasn't it? So maybe not. But yeah, a bit of downforce is always good. Anyway, what we got? What's going on out there? Lots going on there. It's just sort of getting those early laps in, the banker laps in. As we come to the 8-minute mark, and George Russell goes up into P9 on a 128.105. So not a stonking lap, but a lap nevertheless. Albon goes 4th on a 27. So yeah, so they're just going to stay out now and just let these times wind up, rubber the track up, let that water clear. There is another cloud lingering over towards, I think, the loop, maybe over towards... a bit further than that, isn't it? 11 and 12 and 13. So just worth keeping an eye on that, ready for Q3. Alonso purple in the middle sector. Yeah, there's the F3 after this, isn't there, John T, at 6 o'clock, hopefully. Probably rain enough they can't get that one going either. That would be really, really annoying. Alonso fastest on a 127.279. That is on a fresh set of the soft tyres. So the fresh now starting to work a little bit better. Zhou's improving as well. Stroll's, yeah. No, I read Leclerc's improving. Sorry, not Zhou. I looked at the timing screens wrong. 28.3 for Leclerc in 14th. 35.4 in the middle sector. Can we do the final couple of corners now? Into club, turn 18. What does he do? Come on, Charles. 127.667. Let your bias flow, Sean. Who cares anymore? I'll be crying in a minute when they're knocked out. It's fine. It's all right. Piastri is on an outlap at the moment on a nice fresh set of the softs. Verstappen moves into second place at 127.3. So these fresh softs seem to be kicking in now quite nicely. What was I watching the other day? CPB, remind me. What was I watching the other day? Thunderbolts of lightning, very, very frightening. What was that? Oh, it was I've binged Inside Number 9 this last few weeks. That's what it was. Where they kept covering the mouth and saying, you can't stop singing that, we haven't got the rights. That was it. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. Anyway, Piastri then, he is on some fresh tyres coming through the loop at turn 4 and 5. Let's see what he can do in his first sector. 28.2 is the fastest by Carlos Sainz at the moment. I'm just waiting for this first sector time. What's he going to do? It is a 28.189. So, yes. An improvement from Piastri. Not purple, though, but it is quicker than Sainz at the moment. Anybody else out there improving? We've only got Hulkenberg, Sainz, Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc out there with Piastri. I assume they're all going to pit now for some new tyres, potentially. Verstappen right on the back of Norris, by the way. But yeah, Norris coming through. Piastri coming through, Maggots, Beckett's, and into Chapel onto the Hanger straight. That is between turns 14 and 50 for anyone who works in corner numbers. Piastri 3/10 up in the middle sector. Got a nice little touch on the Ferrari. Not a massive one, but a little one there down the straight. So he is improving big time here, Piastri. So what can he do? Is this going to be fastest time? It looks like it will be, and indeed everyone is pitting now or seems to be. But as I say, that other people now coming out, Hamilton, Russell, Zhou, Norris is going for a lap 2, but it's Piastri over the line on a 1:26.945. That's a very good lap. Goes fastest ahead of Carlos Sainz. Norris is just doing his lap now, but is he backed off at the loop? No, I thought he just looked on the track map there like he was slow, but probably just because it's a slowish corner through there, probably. Well, no, because Hamilton's couldn't be honest. I think he is backing off. So did Hamilton? Was there some traffic there for Norris? We'll wait for a replay. I'm sure they'll show us. Unless it's Hamilton that was on a hot lap. Not sure. You should be reporting live from the track, Sean. I should, Kevin, but I can't afford it. It's crazy money these days to go to Silverstone. So why are the fans dressed like it's winter? Because it's British summer, Kevin. They'll all be in shorts and t-shirts in February, but middle of July or beginning of July, we're all in coats and hats and gloves and scarves because that's why a lot of people in the UK just bog off to Spain. Mallorca. My parents are in Tenerife, supposed to be, assuming Mum's okay to travel in a couple of weeks. So yeah. It's weird. It's all good fun. We love it, really. It's we are in Lincoln, just very quickly, because Max saying 12 degrees where he is. We're actually 16 degrees here in Lincoln, so it's not too bad. Hulkenberg purple, first sector. It's practically tropical here in Lincoln compared to that. Personal best middle sector of Hulkenberg. Only actually 16 thousandths down on Piastri, so it's a good lap so far for Hulkenberg here. But that has, since its updates, and it's got some updates on this weekend, I think, moving in the right direction. So, they've had a great season. I think that result in Austria was fantastic as well. I just hope that this isn't going to be typical Haas as Hulkenberg over the line. Goes fastest on a 1:26.8. Great lap from Nico Hulkenberg there. How that stacks up once the track rubbers in, we'll see. But, I hope Haas don't do what Haas tend to do. Have a season where they really take a step forward, then take 3 steps back. I hope with Ayu Komatsu, he seems to be leading that team really, really well. Moving them forward, I hope they can continue to move forward and improve next season as well. It'll be good to see them have some good seasons. But Russell on a hot lap. What's he doing? He's 6 tenths up on a time to get through to Q3. Leclerc, the driver, at risk. Oh, God. Leclerc, the driver, at risk. Russell, P12 at the moment. Sargeant goes fourth on a 1:27.1. It's only 2.5 minutes, but there's a lot still to happen in this session because the times are really coming down as the track rubbers in. Russell goes fastest on a 1:26.7. Hulkenberg is still second, 8 hundredths behind. Zhou only 13th on a 1:27.8. Norris is purple in the middle sector. Albon's just riding up for a lap. I think Hamilton goes second on a 26.770. 4 thousandths of a second between the Mercedes drivers. Norris does go fastest on a 1:26.559. We've got everybody on track as you'd expect. So Norris, Russell, Hamilton, Hulkenberg, Piastri, Sainz, Sargeant, Alonso, Verstappen and Albon are your top 10. Stroll, Leclerc, Zhou, Tsunoda and Ricciardo at risk of elimination here. But these, yeah. Please, Charles, don't give me another Saturday qualifying watch on where I just want to sit and be grumpy all evening. High track evolution, 1 second, according to Ferrari. That would explain why Sargeant and Hulkenberg suddenly shot right towards the top end of the timesheets then. But Leclerc just backing off and winding up for a lap, I think, here. I hope here. Yes, he is. That's fine. He's not pitting, so he should be okay. Right. We're coming up to a minute left. I'll come to you in chat in a moment. I'm going to have a swig of drink because I think this is about to get chaotic. Here we go then. 1 minute to go. Oh, here we go. Let's see what happens. Come on, Charles Leclerc. Crack on, lad. I'm not having it. I'm not doing it again today. I'm not having it. Everyone now winding up for the laps now. Leclerc is just ahead of Sainz on the track. There's a good gap between them, so no toes or anything there. So we'll see what goes on with Leclerc's first sector. 28.2 is the fastest by Albon. Leclerc does a 28. That's Piastri still. 28.1 for Piastri, 28.1 for Leclerc. So the track is definitely brewed. 28.1 as well for Carlos Sainz. Nothing in the first sector between Piastri, Sainz and Leclerc. Just a few hundredths of a second. This is so close. This could be fantastic. Round the corner at Copse comes Leclerc. We'll see what his middle sector is going to be. I'll keep an eye on Piastri as well because he's going to come through to complete that. It's a 34.9 in the middle sector for Oscar Piastri. Charles Leclerc is about to come through and go through there. So what is it? 34.9, 35.1. So Leclerc down on Piastri in the middle sector. So they've matched each other in the first. That's the checkered flag for the session. See what Piastri can do. He is about to come to the line. I think he's just going to the final corner now. Watching Leclerc as well. Piastri goes through and moves into second place on a 26.7. Charles Leclerc through the final couple of corners. What is he going to do? Can he get through? He better do. Only 7th, the 127.097. That is it as well for Leclerc. That is his lap. Sainz goes across the line. 126.8 drops Leclerc down to 8th place. Just no panic. Everyone stay calm. Sargeant is still in the top 10. Tsunoda goes 10th place. A 127.2. He's in danger here. Lots of cars improving. Verstappen's improving. He's in the drop zone as well. He has got to get this lap right in his final two corners as Alonso goes second on a 26.7. Sargeant is on the bubble. Tsunoda is out. We know that one now. He's already crossed the line. This is it. Verstappen through the final few corners now, through turn 17, up to club. Stroll's improving as well in the middle sector. Max Verstappen goes only 6th, the 126.7, but he's through. That's important here. Ricciardo improving in the middle sector, as is Joe, Stroll, and Tsunoda. Sargeant drops out and does not improve his time either, so he's P11 at the moment. Albon is 9th. Charles Leclerc, oh, for fuck's sake. Lance Stroll goes 10th, the 126.9. Daniel Ricciardo, he stays 15th on a 127.9. Out in Q2, Daniel Ricciardo P15, Zhou Guanyu P14, Yuki Tsunoda P13, Logan Sargeant P12, Charles Leclerc P11. Norris fastest, 126.5. Russell second, Alonso third, Piastri fourth, Hamilton fifth, Verstappen sixth, Sainz seventh, Hulkenberg eighth, Albon ninth, and Stroll in 10th place. Great laps there from Hulkenberg, Albon, and Logan Sargeant. Even though he's out, it's still got to be said. Great laps from those drivers there. But the big headline from Q2 is Charles Leclerc is out again. Anyway, I'm just going to go and cry. No, 11th place isn't terrible if you're in a Williams or something, but pretty bad for a Ferrari there. Not happy, obviously. Yes. So what's interesting there? So obviously, big story. Leclerc out, didn't get the lap together. We'll see if there's any analysis on the Sky Pad in a minute. See if there's any reason why there isn't any replays. But really, I think Zhou's out qualified Bottas, which I think one of the first times this season that Zhou's out qualified Bottas, which we knew anyway. I know, but I just want to check that actually, just while it's fresh in my mind. So Zhou out qualifying Bottas would mean... yeah, that's the first time this season Zhou Guanyu has out qualified Valtteri Bottas. So well done to him. We knew that anyway, like I say, but just worth a mention at that point. He's P14. Great lap from Logan Sargeant for P12. Actually, only a couple of tenths off Stroll in P10 in the end. So a really good lap from Logan Sargeant. Really impressed to see Albon up there and Hulkenberg. I thought Albon in these conditions on this track, Williams were going to be strong this weekend, but that's a fantastic result for Alex Albon up in 9th place. Hulkenberg 8th, that's a great lap. But then actually, to be honest, Hulkenberg getting through to Q3 is becoming less and less surprising, but I'm still going to give him massive credit for that. Verstappen only 6th. So we'll see if he can wind that up for Q3. But at the moment, Alonso, slotting himself between the McLarens and the Mercedes there, is a great lap as well. Not far off the fastest time. So Fernando in these conditions really coming alive. But this track in Q3, it is going to continue to rubber in. Everything's going to continue to dry out. The track's going to get quicker and quicker and quicker. And so this could be anybody's game. But let me know in chat, who have you got then? Who are we going for pole as we prepare for Q3? My bet was Verstappen. That will still be the one I'm scored on come the end of the weekend on my predictions. But I'm going to go... Do I have to stick with Verstappen? Do I have to? I can't feel I want to chase this now and go with Norris because he's right there. Doing some great, so he's in quick all weekend actually, to be fair. So, yeah. CPB says, sod it, I'm picking Alonso. We've got a replay here. I'll come to your picks in a minute. Norris complained about track. Bit big swerve there from Hamilton. I think Hamilton there, in his defence, trying to get out of somebody else's way and preparing his own lap, and Lando goes flying down the outside. Yeah, it's just all farting about in the final couple of corners as usual because, the track isn't long enough. Apparently. Leclerc is not getting P1, Stefan. No, Leclerc is not getting P1. He's P11, mate. He's out. Staying with Piastri pole for thought I looked cute. Azari says Lando. That's how it's written. Vesk says Lando. Warren says Gasly with 5th place penalty is starting in 70th. Is that the lowest ever? Yeah, he's basically starting from Glasgow, Warren, tomorrow. I'm not sure because Jensen Button and Stoffel Van Dorn had some pretty massive penalties, didn't they? Lando for sure, says David. Either Russell or Norris, says DJ. DJ back. Sorry, or back. Yeah, you know who you are. I'm saying that's back, but yeah. Irene says Norris or Russell for me. Azari says McLaren 1-2. Come on. Yeah, not happy with Lando. Oh, not Lando, with Charles. Could Lando win the championship this year? Is that Kevin? Is that how you spell Zach Brown's pronunciation of Lando? I can't do it, but yeah. Captain says Norris. Warren says Hamilton for pole. Joe says I think Verstappen will be lucky to make top 3 unless he just goes crazy. Good point. Actually, no, they're just working on Verstappen's car. Actually, there's a point. I'm not making excuses for him before you start. I know, but I wonder if there is some damage. We saw some damage on the car, didn't we? As he went across the gravel in Q1. So I wonder if there's a bit of damage on that car, and maybe that's what some of the pace deficit is. But again, I'm not making excuses. I'm definitely not. Pete says McLaren won, Honda had 100. That was it. 105 place penalty. Because there's one as well. I would Google it, but I'd spend hours on Google finding these things out. There's another one. I think Jensen Button has a penalty he's not served, hasn't he, technically? So there we go. Yeah. Button hasn't even started that race yet, and he's still got another grid drop coming, says Mike. Yeah, there you go. That was the one. Nico Hulkenberg says George. I'm not going to read that like that because it'll just get really messy. Pascal satisfied with Sauber today. 14th and 16th better than Austria. Let's see what happens tomorrow. I know you are correct, Sean, about 1 point tomorrow. Yes, a point. And do you know what? No offense to Bottas, I'd love Joe to get it. Because it sounds like he's not going to be around next year. Because it sounds like Alpine are prioritising Sainz. We'll see. Gasly starting from the International Space Station, says Victor. Who has a grid penalty? That is, Gasly's got a grid penalty for 5. He's got 5 engine components changed, and that's 10 places per component. So that's a 50 place grid drop. So that's going to be really interesting. Eric Harron says Max's car has significant damage. Yes, I know who you mean. I can't pronounce his name. Terrible, I know, but yeah. Jensen got 3 places for that crash with Verline in Monaco 2017. He shall never serve it. Yeah, no, I'm with CPB. I was just going to say Jensen Button should come back and serve it just for the banter. Just, if next year a driver says I want to do the Indy 500 and so they need someone to stand in, maybe Alonso does it at Aston and Button comes back just to serve the penalty. just for a laugh. Or serves them when he does one of his runs in his gorgeous he's been running the FW22 this weekend. Oh, that people laugh at this. That is one of my favourite liveries of all time, the FW22, with the BMW colours and just the way it all looks. I love that car. We are going Q3, but we're doing that thing where everyone sits in the pits, waits a bit, and then trip over each other a little bit later when they're all trying to get a lap in, waiting for the best conditions. So yeah, we might. Oh, we're going. I know Max is moving. Max is right. I'm off. Max is done. Daniel Ricciardo walking back down the pit lane there. His session is over. He qualified 15th, for anybody wondering. I can answer a couple of questions while we're waiting for the drivers to get round to start the laps. Albon will be first again. Verstappen's out there as well. Vishali says, has Lando got a 5 plus penalty? I don't think so. He served his penalty in Austria, didn't he? As I recall it, his pit stop, or when he pitted to retire. Lee says, what happened to Perez? Perez had a snap of oversteer at turn at Copse. I'm not going to guess a number at Copse. That ran him into the runoff area, which was soaking wet. He was in dry tyres, and then he spun into the gravel and beached himself. So that's what happened there. What options are now open to Bottas for next season? Has he signed some contracts? Apparently, Williams is he's their backup plan for Sainz if Sainz doesn't decide to go there. So Williams for Bottas is a possibility. I still think Audi will have him in the frame if they can't find somebody else. Maybe like third or fourth on their list. But I think he'll still be on that. I think if they need somebody and nobody else wants to come, he would be a decent person to go alongside Nico Hulkenberg as they prepare for 26. So right. Albon is coming through turns 11, 12, and 13 now to start his lap. He's got the hang of straights to yet. Ryan said again. Ryan asked about Lando's penalty. I don't think, unless I've missed something, let me know in chat. But I'm sure he served his penalty, his 5-second time penalty, when he pitted to retire in Austria. So I don't think he does have a penalty. I've not seen anything. There's nothing on the FIA feed. So he's, because if he didn't and they deemed that he didn't, it would be a 3-place grid drop, wouldn't it, for the not serving your penalty? So we'll see. I don't think so, as far as I'm aware. Right, Albon starting his lap. He's just going through turn 1 now. What's he going to do? So used tyres, by the way, for Albon, Alonso, and Stroll. Yeah, I thought so, Tammy. Yeah, thank you, Tammy. And Vesk as well. He did serve the penalty and retired. Thank you, guys, for just confirming that. I thought he had, but I've slept since Sunday. So things slip out the mind. Verstappen just coming round now to turn 6. We're not watching Albon. He's up at Luffield at the moment. I'll keep an eye on Albon's times as well. 28.2 for Albon, 28 flat for Verstappen in the first sectors. I'll see how that matches up with the others as they start their laps. Piastri does a 28 flat as well. Just a little bit slower than Verstappen. 28.2 for Alonso. Norris will be next to do one, see what he does, and then we'll start focusing on what's happening a little bit further ahead as Albon starts to complete his middle sector. Norris a 28 flat, so it's very close again in that first sector. 28.0, 28.0, 28.0. Sainz is the fastest of all, though. In the first sector, Verstappen does a 34.7, sorry. In the middle, Albon did a 35.0. He's coming to the line now to be first to complete his lap, so he will go top very briefly. Will Alex Albon, but calm down, Albon fans. There's a lot still to happen. 127 flat for Albon, not bad. On used tyres there as well. Verstappen round the final corner now, and he does a 126.3. What is Piastri going to do? He's the next one over the line. Needs to just get the first laps on. We'll get a second run shortly. Piastri, a 26.2. Good lap from Piastri. Go on, Aussie. I dare you. Take pole, mate. Do it. Alonso third, 26.9 on used tyres. So, yeah, not a bad lap at all, that from Albon. And Norris goes fastest on a 126.0. That's a couple of tenths quicker than Piastri and 3 tenths quicker than Verstappen. So just bearing in mind, there is damage to Verstappen's car, his floor, after he ran over the gravel at Copse as the rain started to fall during Q2. So that is part of the reason. Again, not making excuses. That's a fact. We saw the damage on the front of the floor, didn't we? At the start of Q2. So there is damage there, which will be affecting pace to a point. The floor is essential, of course, in these aero regulations there at the moment with the ground effect. So any damage to your floor is never a good sign anyway. Any floor, your bathroom floor as well. You don't want to damage bathroom floor. I have no idea. Lewis Hamilton over the line goes second fastest, 26.196. Russell is 27.9, 34.6, goes fastest on a 126.0. There is very little here. 6 thousandths between Russell and Norris. We have and I'm sure, as somebody put it earlier, Crofty will be creaming himself now. We have a British 1, 2, 3 at the moment, and you'll never hear the end of it. Yeah. Actually, I mean, Albon, a lot of people argue that Albon should be included when we talk about British drivers, but he's racing under the Thai flag. That was a choice he made, so I will call him. He's a Thai driver. But he is top 10. He was born in the UK, so a good day for the Brits. Not that despite what the accent may tell you, I don't give a toss about the Brits, but there you go. Well done. Yeah, it's I don't know how to read this season. This season's gone from being incredibly predictable and a cruise to the title for Red Bull and Verstappen to what the hell's happening very, very quickly. I don't know where anybody is anymore, but it's good stuff. Verstappen was coming through Maggots and Beckett's, and he was wide on the entry to Chapel. I don't know why I said it like that, but I did. There you go. It fell out the mouth. I did it. So yeah, everyone's starting to come into the pits now. So we've got Russell fastest 26.0. I'm going to have to read them properly. A 126.024. Norris is second on a 126.030. Hamilton on a 126.196. Piastri fourth, 126.2, a 126.3 for Verstappen, a 126.4 for Hulkenberg, a 126.5 for Sainz. Stroll ruined that with a 126.7 for 8th, 26.9 for Alonso in 9th, and a 27 flat for Albon. Those final three drivers, Stroll, Alonso, and Albon, all used tyres for that. I just want to double check something. So bear with me a second, because I didn't see anything flash up on the feed. That doesn't mean it's not there. The stewards... No, because it did flash up, didn't it, that the stewards were investigating the two Aston Martins at the end of the session. And I still think, given that leaving the pit lane when the red light is on and the red flag is a black flag in the race, I assume Stroll for sure, because we saw the onboard, will be disqualified. So just bear that in mind come the end of the session. We'll see what happens there. Over 1,000 of you here. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in on this Saturday afternoon here in the UK, or morning or evening, wherever you are. I hope you've had a great day, or are going to have a great day. Please do drop a like on the stream. Let's get that nice and high if there's lots of you here. Free to do and really helps the channel in the algorithm. And don't forget as well, if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. We've got lots coming up. We're live tomorrow after the race at 6 p.m. With the race reaction, 6 p.m. BST, I should say, UK time. So please do subscribe as well for that. I've got Stuart, aka Chainbear, with me. So hoping for a mixed conditions race that's just as exciting as this qualify session has been so far. So yes, likes and subscribes always appreciated. It helps support the channel. It doesn't cost a penny to do unless something goes really wrong somewhere. Thank you. No worries, Sister Nerez. I enjoy doing the streams. It's nice in the quality watch alongs, just sitting and chatting like we're friends in a pub, like I keep saying. I try and do my terrible B-Tech Crofty impression, but you know, it's more about just hanging out and enjoying the F1. Quali's the best session of the weekend quite often. Although the races are really getting spicy now, aren't they? Because we've actually got some close battling going on, which is good to see. Rest of the season could be very interesting. Got some good tracks as well. Hungary used to be a stinker for me. I used to hate that track. But it actually has given us some good racing over the years now. So very much looking forward to that. And of course, Spa is Spa. Can't wait for that. And it's a bloody summer break. Just as things start to get going, you know, we're getting these great tracks and then summer break. Typical. And then we've got Zandvoort, which I quite enjoy as well, so that's going to be quite fun. Before the stop-start weird second half of the year. Don't forget, we've got a few races, then a month off, and then a few races, then 3 weeks off, and then something like that. I don't know what's going on, but there you go. Kevin is listening from a beach in Zante. Wow. Enjoy. Hope you're having a great time. Very jealous. I'm in my office in Lincoln, and it's peeing it down outside. But hey, we're at 16 degrees. It's nice and warm. What's going on there? What have we got happening as we come? We've got lots of cars on track now. Obviously, the top 10 are going to be out there. All 10 of them are. First on track is Alex Albon again. He's up at turn 11, just covering Maggots and Beckett's now. Stroll is just behind him. Hulkenberg a bit further down the road. Then it's Verstappen, Hamilton, Norris, Russell, Sainz and Piastri. So this is very much going to be last across the line for the fast cars. And last across the line today is, unless I'm wrong, Oscar Piastri. So let's see. George Russell just coming round now. Turn 7 we're watching. But Albon is about to start a lap, so it'd be nice to watch him for at least the first half. That would be good. So Albon starts his lap then. Yes, Max's floor damage will be repaired, I'd imagine, before the race. As long as they change like for like, there's no threat of any penalty if they have to change anything, so that should be fine for Max tomorrow, but it could hamper him here on the quest for pole position and dump all over another one of Sean's predictions, for goodness sake. Alex Albon coming through turn 5 now, just exiting the loop onto the Wellington straight. DRS wide open as he heads towards 6 and 7 through the first sector. It's a 28 flat for Albon. So that's what the front runners were doing in the first session, or the first part of qualifying. 3, the first runs is what I'm trying to say. It's a 27.8 for Lance Stroll in the first sector. So that is purple, and it is a good lap as well so far for him. So come on, Lance. Let's get a decent run. Another out qualifying Alonso possible? We shall see. 27.8 as well for Hulkenberg. Marginally quicker than Lance Stroll. Max Verstappen does a 28.1. Yeah, Max Verstappen is not improving here at all. Very poor first sector. He's been well beaten by Hulkenberg. So that damage, clearly a factor here. It is new tyres, so it's not unused tyres. 27.9 for Hamilton, 28.0 for Norris. At the moment, Hulkenberg has the fastest first sector. 34.9 for Albon and Stroll, and a 34.7 for Nico. He's got a great chance of a good lap here, Hulkenberg, as Albon moves into 8th place on a 1:26.6. That is the checkered flag, so they're going to finish these laps, and then we'll see where everybody ends up. This is going to be an exciting few minutes. Stroll moves up into 8th place on a 1:26.5. Alonso, not a great first sector either. So is it raining all of a sudden somewhere? The first sectors are all yellow on the timing screens. Hulkenberg goes up to 5th place ahead of Verstappen, who is a little bit quicker in the middle sector than Hulkenberg, so might move back ahead. Verstappen goes 4th, 1:26.2. Purple for Russell in the middle sector, so he's flying. George Russell here has a shot at pole. He's already there as it stands, but what can Lewis Hamilton do? Over the line he goes in his pole position, 25.9 for Hamilton at the moment. At the moment, there's still some very quick guys behind. Russell, quick. Sainz has got Piastri right. I think Piastri maybe compromised behind Sainz. Russell goes fastest. 25.819. That's provisional pole for Russell. Sainz over the line. He stays 7th. Piastri stays 5th. Of those two held each other up. But George Russell is on pole position. Lewis Hamilton is 2nd. Lando Norris 3rd. It is a British 1-2-3, so that's why Crofty's screaming in my ear now, spaffing himself. Verstappen is 4th. Piastri 5th. Hulkenberg 6th. Sainz 7th. Stroll 8th. Albon 9th. And Fernando Alonso in P10. What an interesting antecedent. Norris peeled into the pits, so that's what's happened there. Norris peeled into the pits. His sector times were 28.0 and 34.7, so he was well down in the middle sector. A couple of tenths down on Russell in the middle sector, so that's why he's abandoned that one. I'm wondering here, because Sainz and Piastri were basically together on track. I wonder if they've compromised each other's laps, because Piastri was right on the back of Sainz, because neither of them got there. But it is a Mercedes 1-2. No, you have not time travelled. It is a Mercedes 1-2. In at Silverstone, George Russell 1:25.8 pole position. Lewis Hamilton 1:25.9 2nd place on the grid. Obviously that's what a 1-2 is. Watching Max Verstappen's replay here, what happened here? He's only 4th. He was wide again on the exit coming towards Chapel, which I guess is the exit of Maggots and Beckett's there, doesn't he? He's done that a couple of times this session now. He has got a bit of damage, as we already know, so that could be a factor in that one. But yeah, Russell, Hamilton, Norris, and it's Verstappen in P4, Piastri P5, Hulkenberg, great qualifying again, P6 for him, 7th for Sainz, 8th for Stroll, 9th for Albon, and 10th for Alonso. I'll stay alive for a little bit longer. We'll do some Q&A and that. We'll talk about the session. If you are going, though, thank you so much for joining me. Please do drop a like before you go. Let's get that over 200 before you all disappear. And please do subscribe as well, so you don't miss out on any future content. We're live again tomorrow after the race, 6 p.m. with Stuart to talk about the Grand Prix. I'm going to stick around for another 15 or 20 minutes. We'll talk about the session and then we'll call it a day there, and I'll see you all again tomorrow. But yes, if you are going, please do leave a like and subscribe as well. It'll be massively appreciated. It really helps the channel out. It's struggled lately, but it'd be good to give it some love. If I say it like that, don't, because that's terrible. Give it some love. There you go. That's fine. So people very excited in my ear, Crofty and co, because now we can get excited about 3 British drivers on the grid, top 3 places on the grid. But yeah, my drivers, my team, not so good. Leclerc 11th, Sainz 7th, Verstappen only 4th. Yeah, Ocon down in 18th. I've had a cracking day. But yes, there we go. But it's yeah. Jordy says, can't believe I'm happy with the Merc 1-2. I think the Mercedes thing, not everyone will be, but I think the Mercedes thing is, it's just that it's happened with other teams before. They've had such a rough few years. not getting their car right and the struggles they've had. So to see them suddenly performing, you want to give them credit, don't you? So I think it's natural to feel happy for them with a 1-2 finish in qualifying. Obviously, a lot of work to do tomorrow with a repaired Verstappen and a super fast Norris and Piastri. But I really am. I want to stick around for a little bit longer because I want to see what happened between Sainz and Piastri. If anybody watches the onboards on F1 TV, I can't get them. I suppose I could do it on the Sky thingy, but then I'd be really far behind. But if anyone's seen them and was watching Piastri or Sainz on board, let me know, unless the TV gets there first. Because, like I say, Sainz and Piastri on the driver tracker were very much together on track, and neither really improved at all coming over the line. So, Albon, Stroll, Russell, Zhou, Hamilton, no further action on failing to follow race director's notes. Albon was the first car to take the flag, by the way, just if you're interested. So, yeah. This is weird. What is wrong with Ferrari? This is ridiculous. What a huge drop-off, says Irene. Yeah, don't forget, after Monaco, there was talk of a Ferrari title challenge. Not happening. Not happening at all. I said to Jonty yesterday, and if you follow this channel long enough, you know I'm not a Lewis Hamilton fan, but I did say yesterday to Jonty, it would be quite nice to see Hamilton get a win this weekend. It's British Grand Prix. He's the most successful driver at Silverstone. George has won a race this season. Hamilton hasn't won since Saudi Arabia 2021. It would just be kind of nice to see somebody else winning other than, we've had a Russell win and a Norris win and Verstappen wins this season and Sainz has won and Leclerc. Let's get another one in there. Let's do that. And then if Perez can get one, top five teams all have 2 winners this season. That'd be great. But yeah. Kevin doesn't agree with my statement on Lewis Hamilton. That's fair enough. No, I just think it'd be nice for, the season. My graphic of race winners this season will look nice and colourful as well. And it's been a long time since he's won one, so could be interesting. Hamilton was Saudi Arabia 2021, wasn't he? His last win. Because 2021, Saudi Arabia came after Brazil and before Abu Dhabi, unless I'm forgetting something. Yeah, fair enough, Hank. Yeah, I get that. But yeah, no, I've got to say, I didn't expect. Few people in the comments did the preview, but I did not expect to see Mercedes on pole today. I thought it was Norris versus Verstappen. But yeah, Norris is happy with P3, still good. So, yeah. Norris wants to rain tomorrow. I'm going to stop that. I'm not listening to interviews. I can't get subtitles to work. They never want to work for me. Was it definitely? Yeah, it was Saudi then. Yeah, because I get confused with that because the first Saudi Arabian Grand Prix was the end of the season. 2021, then it moved, didn't it? Because that weird stat about it being so quickly after its first one, because it moved to the start of the season or towards the start of the season the next year. So that was his last win. It seems like forever ago, doesn't it? 2021. Why didn't Alonso finish his lap? I'm just waiting to find out. There's a few things actually that I'm waiting to find out on why Alonso didn't finish his lap, why Norris didn't finish his lap, unless I couldn't quite hear him there because I was waffling away and I didn't want to go silent for 3 minutes while I listened to him. So apologies. I'll check socials in a minute. But also, it's the Sainz Piastri one. In fact, you know what? Pascal says, I've got a feeling tomorrow's race will be epic. I hope so. I absolutely hope so. I'm just going to check and see if anybody has said anything on that one, because that's going to bug me all night if I don't see some sort of replay. For some reason. Can't see anything on social. So, Sainz possibly blocked Piastri, and then Piastri overtook him at the last corner. So it sounds like there's a bit of jockeying for position to get a lap in. I'm just reading what people say on Twitter. So it's not reliable. Just make that clear now. But it sounds like there's some farting about the final corner. So that's probably what's happened there, definitely. So see if there's any replays there. And Alonso, you wanted to know as well. Didn't see if there's any reason why Alonso didn't finish his lap. Some of the gifts that people come so quickly with gifts, it's scary. I can't see anything at the moment, so again, we'll wait and see. But definitely go and check out. I'm sure there'll be lots of info out there. I still want to know what's happening to Stroll as well. That for me feels like it should be a disqualification, but we'll see what happens with exiting the pit lane. So the Formula Data Analysis account, by the way, on Twitter, if you're on there, is definitely worth following. They're saying Red Bull still quick but not dominant anymore. Verstappen must fight to the edge with McLaren and Mercedes. That's their analysis. Haas upgrades are working and Ferrari troublesome updates are not working. There was some stuff actually earlier in the week with Ferrari about their updates and not working, maybe almost a step backwards. So I can't say anything on Alonso, unfortunately. So I apologise for that, but I can't. Like I said, I can't just listen to the interviews and not talk. So otherwise, I may as well go and let you guys go and listen to the interviews, really. But yeah, I'm just wondering if Chris Medland or somebody has said anything, and then I'll come back to you guys in chat and we'll keep an ear out and an eye out for what's going on. So apparently Norris slowed at Chapel, so maybe went wide at Chapel, is what Chris Medland's saying. But nothing else in there at the moment. So that could be one of the reasons. I'll keep an eye on that. I'm sure there'll be some news somewhere. TikTok info. Oh, yeah. 100% reliable, Kevin. I'm sure. Yes, absolutely. Do you know what? I'm 38. I've not even got the TikTok app because I'm 38. I did notice that Oscar came behind sights when they got to hang a straight, says Glenn. So, yeah, that could have been some messing about either on the out laps or on the flying laps. Pete says Sainz had a big moment. Piastri was right behind him, so there, yeah, could have held him up there. So potentially a penalty there for Sainz, but if he's had a moment, we'll see what they decide. See if anything gets investigated. There were some investigations going on, but that's been thrown out. That one has on Hamilton and Co. following the rest of notes. Yeah, I don't know why they bother with those. I say it every week. The whole thing with race directed instructions and then investigating them. I don't see the point, you know. I know there's a delta time and they've got to stick to it, or a maximum time or whatever, but it's just, yeah, crazy. I think just George Russell there with the tyre, the little Pirelli tyre. Quite like one of them. Wouldn't mind one of those at all. Apparently Verstappen's decline is fun to watch. Fair enough. Bob says Mercedes are cooking. Big surprise. This Martin Brundle Stormzy thing, by the way. It's the partnership we never knew we needed. Hamilton, Norris, Piastri podium. George the king of cringe. Russell hopefully helps Max bin it, says Ian. Fair enough. The whole Delstein thing doesn't make sense to me, says Vesk. Jonathan says he's not on decline, and I'm a Lewis fan. Damage today a factor, definitely for Alonso. Not for Alonso. For Verstappen, we saw that damage on his floor. So that's definitely a reason. So, saw on social Alonso had a snap in turn 6, so he abandoned his final lap and boxed. He was unhappy on the radio. So thank you. So Alonso snap at turn 6. Possible that Norris went wide at Chapel, which is why he had to back out of it. And we're just waiting to see on Piastri and Sainz. That sounds like some jockeying for position. Leclerc on his depression phase, similar to 2022. Tell me about it. Leclerc depression, Ferrari depression equals Sean depression. It's not good. It's not good at all. Even with floor damage, he still went faster than Ferrari. All right, Hank. All right. I'm not. Don't come here choosing violence. I'm not having that. No. To be fair, it's a fair point. I can see your comments. Sayan, is it Sayan? Sorry, I'm terrible with pronunciation of names. I can see your comments. Yeah, there's nothing. I think it's read one of yours, the depression one on Leclerc. So yeah, I've definitely seen that. Hope it's not an issue our end, so hopefully all okay. Bob says Piastri future champion man. We'll see. I'm not getting too excited for him. But yes, so that's is that second pole of the season for us? I think got pole in Canada. Yeah. Yeah, crazy. Okay, I'm off, says Pete. Enjoy the last bit of the stream, folks. Have a good one, Pete. Thanks for joining us. I'll be wrapping up in a few minutes. I'm not going to sit umming and ahhing for hours, although I could quite easily. But yeah, I hope you had a good one, Pete, and have a good rest of the day. Struggle as a Ferrari fan to watch us bin it more or not. Yeah, no. Imagine Russell 2 on the bounce, says Stefan. Yeah, that'd be quite a story, wouldn't it? I imagine the grandstands will go a bit bonkers tomorrow if we get a British 1, 2, 3. definitely. Ian says qualifying done. Yeah, qualifying's done, Ian, just finished. Russell on pole. In fact, actually, do you know what? 1 second. Let me have a drink. Pause for the timestamp. George Russell is on pole position for the British Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton in second place, 0.171 between the two of them. Russell's second pole of the season, as I was just saying. Lando Norris in third for British 1-2-3, 2/10 of the fastest time. We think, according to Chris Medland on Twitter, he was wide at Chapel, and that's why he abandoned his final lap. We'll wait for some replays on that if they come through before the end of the stream. Max Verstappen had an off in Q2, damaged his floor. That hampered him for the rest of the session. Definitely played a part. He was nearly 4/10 off Russell on pole in P4. Oscar Piastri, we're not sure what happened between him and Sainz. We think some jostling for position possibly cost them both time and track position and compromise their laps. We'll see if anything comes through on that shortly. He was 5th place, 4/10 off the fastest time. Nico Hulkenberg, a cracking lap again, half a second just over off the fastest time. He's in P6. Carlos Sainz, P7, the best placed Ferrari, almost 7/10 off the fastest time. Lance Stroll, 8th. Question mark over that. The replays have shown multiple times that he exited the pit lane when the red light came on, so that could be a penalty or possibly disqualification. We'll wait and see what happens there. He's 8th at the moment though. Alex Albon, great session, 9th place for him, 1:26.6, 8/10 off the fastest time. And Fernando Alonso, a second off the pace, 1:26.9, but he had an issue on his final lap, a snap on his final lap, which I think somebody said in comments in turn 6, which would have compromised him for his final run, so he abandoned the lap, wasn't happy on the radio. Charles Leclerc, depression intensifies. P11, 1:27.0. Sargeant, great lap again, 1:27.1. Wasn't far off Q3 actually in the end. Yuki Tsunoda 13th. Zhou Guanyu in 14th. Ricardo, 15th place, 1:27.9 for him. Valtteri Bottas, 1:32.4. Kevin Magnussen 17th on a 1:32.9. Esteban Ocon 18th, 1:34.5. Sergio Perez only 19th and out in Q1 after getting a snap at Cops, running wide onto the wet runoff area, and then the car spun and he beached it in the gravel. And Pierre Gasly last in P20, 1:29.8 was his 1:39.8, sorry, was his best time, but he will be starting a million miles away anyway. I'm sure it's the pit lane. I'll check in a second, because he took a ton of new components ahead of this weekend, which gave him a 50 place penalty. He'll start from the back of the grid, it says, or from the back of the starting grid, it says on the official thing. So he changed his ICE, his internal combustion engine, his turbocharger, his MGUH, his MGUK, and his control electronics. 5th internal combustion engine, 5th turbo, 5th MGUH, 5th MGUK, and 3rd control electronics. So yes, it is back of the grid officially, but whether the team might make some setup changes, we shall see. C64 says, do they still have the 107% rule? We're just watching Norris now on board. He does get a snap at turn 4? Yeah. So coming into the loop, he's already got a snap through 3 and 4. So he was struggling through there. We're now coming down the Wellington Straight with him on board. Was that his? Yes, that was that. Now they're going to do a comparison. So Norris made a mistake, a scruffy lap, basically, and that's why he abandoned it. But they're now watching a comparison of Russell versus Hamilton. So they do have the 107% rule, C64, but it's generally waived so long as you set a competitive time across the weekend. If you haven't, and you're basically a mobile chicane, then they won't let you in. But yeah, generally speaking, that'll be fine. See you later, Kevin. Sorry, Kevin, didn't see you were going. Hope you have a good day, mate. Have a good one. I'll be finishing in just a few anyway. Logan Sargeant going, P12 is the gift to all Americans on the 4th of July. For the 4th of July, says Chris. Yeah. AJ, holy crap, Sargeant in P12. Yeah. Absolutely. I'll tell you what then, in chat, throw in let's do drivers of the day, your qualifier of the day. Let me know. I Logan Sargeant's in the mix, no doubt about that. But I feel like saying George Russell. I know pole position, technically speaking, he is qualifier of the day because he's faster than anybody else. But I think that sort of is a cracking lap to pip Hamilton by nearly 2/10 actually in the end. So I think that's fair. Hulkenberg as well, yes, definitely gets a mention for sure. Great lap from him. I'll come and read yours in just a moment. Just going to have a quick look at what everybody else is saying in chat before we come to that point. Yeah, we've read that one. No rain for tomorrow. Praying, says Julia. I will check the weather forecast actually while you're just putting your drivers of the day in. and see if we've got any update on tomorrow. So, according to Google, there's still around a 50% chance tomorrow of rain for the start of the race. The Met Office, though, is at 60% for heavy rain at the start of the race. So bear that in mind. 15 degrees as well, so not very warm. So rain is 60% at the moment, according to the Met Office, but the Met Office, it can be hit and miss. It can be hit and miss. So, Jonathan's going with Hamilton for driver of the day. Bogby Pogby, what a great name, says Russell. Corn66 says Hulkenberg. Unhinged Gaming says both the Astons, ? I don't know about whether Alonso exited the pit lane, but they are both under investigation, so I assume it'll be something along those lines. Unless Alonso is pushing into the queue, but that'd be a separate thing, wouldn't it? So we'll see if anything comes through official from race control, but I think that'll be hours away yet. Glenn says Alex Albon. Mike says Hulkenberg for driver of the day. Qualifier of the day for Thought I Looked Cute. Said definitely Logan for me, otherwise Hulk. Jonathan says Hulkenberg. Red says Hulkenberg. C64, I won't read that because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but I will give a nod to that, just to let you know I've read it. Stefan says toss up between Perez and Charles. Stop it, Stefan. I'm nearly crying as it is. I'm Ace Fulgent, I'm going to say. I know I'm going to be able to pronounce that properly. Says Hulkenberg. Great qualifier, says Cornelius. That's fantastic qualifier. I really enjoyed that one. Lidley says, so Lando is finally not driver of the day. Hey, well, he'll still get the vote tomorrow, definitely. And Wing Racer 16 says Hulk beats Ferrari factory. Stop it, please. Cornelius also saying Hulkenberg for sure when it comes to driver of the day. I'll have another quick check on socials in a minute, and then we are going to call it for today. But if you've got any quick questions I can answer, I will do that one. What happened with Ricardo weaving in the pit lane in FP3? That was a reprimand. I can read that decision if you would like me to. Let me go and find it. But it was definitely a reprimand. I read that on the old social media before it went live. I forgot about it, actually, so thank you for... they've changed how they do these now. I'm looking for car 3. That's the summons. Car 3, there we go. Right at the top of the list. So, let's have a read of this. So, the stewards heard from the driver, obviously. Team instructed the driver to keep the temperatures up in the tyres on the way into the pits, and the driver chose to weave in the fast lane. A number of other team personnel were present in other team pits immediately adjacent to the fast lane, and there was the risk that the weaving of car 3 might have resulted in contact with some personnel, especially considering the wet conditions. Ricardo acknowledged his actions were, quote, not a good look, and assured the stewards that they would never see him repeat those actions. And it was a reprimand for driver's standards reprimand, basically his first driver's reprimand of the season. So, yeah, I know John T wasn't impressed with that on Twitter because of the message it sends. But yeah, so you got a reprimand for that one. Is Ocon to Haas confirmed? I don't think so, unless I've missed something whilst we've been live. But I think it's at the moment, at least, it feels like it's the paddock's worst kept secret now, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's announced in the next week or so. Yeah, nothing else on there on the radar. I always check Chris Medland because he's he's kind of Alpha Brizio Romano, sort of. Who will bottle it worse today, Sergio Perez or Gareth Southgate? Hopefully Southgate, but yeah, no. Is Aston the 6th fastest car now? Good question from Thought I Looked Cute. You got, in no particular order, you got Red Bull, McLaren, Mercedes, that might be the order actually, Mercedes, Ferrari. Who would the 5th be? Haas, maybe? But that could be track specific. I would still, all things equal, dry conditions, I'd still probably put them marginally 5th, but they're a long way off 4th. Yeah, not just the Norris one there about that one, but I'm not saying. I sometimes get press releases, but they're not going to come through quickly enough today, so I won't be able to. Yeah, but if I see anything, I'll shout out for the end of the stream. If not, we'll just have to see what happens. You know what the stewards are like; it could be hours before we hear anything for most of these anyway. So that's the way it goes. Never was a Hulk fan before, but the job he has done all year for Haas is extremely impressive, says Wing Racer. Yeah, he's really done well. You can kind of see why Sauber have taken him on, can't you? The experience he brings. He's German as well, which will be good for the Audi tie-up. But he's still a very good driver, consistent, and that's what they need. So yeah. But Haas have been faster since Spain? Question mark from Irene. I don't know, to be honest. On the Aston. Where are we? So there we go. So Spain is there. Hulkenberg 11, Alonso 12, Stroll 4. Yes, they were in Spain. Good point. Austria, Hulkenberg 6. We know that's 6th and 8th, wasn't it, for them? Yeah, no, they have been, to be fair. So maybe Haas are P5 now. I mean, RB before their upgrades were starting to head that way, weren't they? And then for some reason their upgrades just fell apart and tricked them, I think was the line. So yeah. Angie Manji, great name, says new viewer here. Welcome, good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. How come K-Mag qualified way worse than Hulk? I've not. I can check I'll check Haas's socials, but I've not. I think Magnussen was one of those that got caught out, unless I'm. Next was Q1, wasn't he? So I would be wrong. I'm not sure, but it's kind of been a bit of the trend this season. Is the only answer I'd have for you right now. So let me have a look for. So average qualified for Hulkenberg this year is 12.2, Magnussen 15.6, and Hulkenberg is winning 8-3 in qualifying battle before today, so that'd be 9-3 now. So I think Hulkenberg just the better qualifier in general, but it is quite a Hulkenberg 32. Sorry, Magnussen 32.9. I don't think the Q1 times will be up on the F1 website just yet. If they are, I will let you know what the gap was. But it was a weird session anyway, to be honest, so far. But I'm not. I think just Hulkenberg is the better qualifier at the moment. They have got the Q1 times up, lovely. So Magnussen did a 32.9 in Q1 in P17. Hulkenberg jumped up to P6 at 31.9. Yeah, there's a second between them, wasn't there? That's a good point, actually. Yeah, a good second between them. But unless Magnussen got caught out by something, I'm going to come back now and check chat, and they'll have all told me. But I think just Hulkenberg, the better qualifier at the moment, would be my answer to that at the moment. Apparently, Ocon has signed with Haas to be confirmed before the summer break. This is leaked on the Planet F1 website. Planet F1 being naughty. I'll have to check that now. Leaked or sources or... Leaked sources. Yeah, there's ketchup everywhere. Let's have a look. Was it a story? Was a story published that shouldn't have been published? Is that what you're getting at? We'll see. If that's there, then Racing News 365 exclusive Ocon signs contract for 2025. But that's not official. That's an exclusive report. They were right about their other exclusive the other day. So French driver will leave Alpine. Haas F1 squad confirmed it's signed Ollie Behrman. Racing News 365 now understands that Behrman will be joined at Haas by Ocon in 2025. So, yes, it looks like Ocon is... That's not confirmed by the team, but Racing News 365 did break the Ocon... not the Ocon thing, the Behrman thing as an exclusive last week. So, Ocon to Haas looks like it's done. But that again, that's like the worst kept secret in the paddock anyway. We're all expecting it. So, there we go. AJ, good afternoon to you, mate. Hope you're having a good one. We are wrapping up soon, so sorry that you've missed the stream, but... hope you're doing well. And you can hopefully see you in the race reaction tomorrow, 6 p.m. UK time. Be good to see you there. Have a sneaky feeling we could see Hulkenberg and a returning Seb at Audi for 2026. Somebody said that the other day to me. A friend, like an IRL friend. Not that you're not friends, you're part of the community, but you know what I mean. They said, what about Seb for Audi if they can't fire somebody? And I was like, don't be silly. But they sort of think, well, actually, yeah, maybe. He's talked possibly about a comeback. He keeps sort of playing it down a bit, but why not? Why not? You know, it'd be good, wouldn't it? Good to hear. I'm good, thank you, AJ. I'm good. Rough couple of weeks with family things, but all good now. So looking forward to tomorrow. Very much looking forward to tomorrow. It could be a great race. That's a really nice grid. Russell, Hamilton, Norris, Verstappen, Piastri, Hulkenberg, Sainz, Stroll, Albon, Alonso. You'd expect Verstappen to have better pace tomorrow without the damage to his floor. Piastri on race day has been good this season, so he could come through, I'm pretty sure. The race pace was interesting. So according to some analysis, the McLaren was better on the medium time race pace, and the Mercedes were better on the soft. So That could be interesting tomorrow. I think Norris will be quicker. Verstappen will come through. Sainz could come through. Leclerc's got to come through from 11th. And hopefully Perez can make some progress from 19th. And then we've got some cars like Hulkenberg and Albon and Sargeant. I think we've got a good race tomorrow. Watch it be terrible. Watch it be absolutely horrific now I've said that. But yeah, there we go. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, there's a couple of AJs in chat. I'm confusing people. There we go. I feel like Audi need a signing. They will give them a shit ton of publicity to make a big splash into F1. Yeah, maybe. I'll take 3 more comments then, and then we'll wrap up for today. Because I'm just waiting to see. Cause I'm talking to Toto Wolff now, so I don't think we're going to get anything from Alonso's camp and things like that. So if it's worth the mention tomorrow, I'll mention it in the stream. But definitely get on your socials afterwards and keep an eye on the FIA feed. There'll be lots of stuff in there, I am sure. So any comments, 3 more, and then we'll wrap it up, or questions or comments, and then I'm going to wrap up for the day. Don't mind me a little bit longer today, because obviously we have the red flag in the middle because of the spin. Vesk says, Books just asked Horner whether there's a possibility to drop Perez mid-season, and Horner didn't say no. He said Perez is the driver at the moment, and they focused on what he can do tomorrow. See, that's interesting, because that narrative has changed, hasn't it? Because when they confirmed him, when they were talking about Perez's form, there was the narrative was very much he's signed, he's staying, hopefully he can pick it up through this season. But there's definitely something going on behind the scenes there. I'm still not convinced by Ricciardo getting a step up and why, but like I said earlier, maybe just gives them some fresh blood in there, not in terms of age, but in terms of somebody else coming in and see if they can do it. But it's going to be interesting. But yeah, Perez isn't safe, even with a contract. And contracts in F1, they are worth the paper they're written on, because they lay out the terms of your agreement. But the contract length, we're talking about Verstappen. Toto Wolff saying a 33.3% chance he'll be in a Mercedes next year. He's supposed to be contracted till 2028. So, people can get out of these deals. So we'll see. I don't think it'll be a mid-season drop. I don't think it'll be anything like that. CPB saying the same. I think it will be a case of a decision maybe taken at the summer, but it'll be for next year, I feel. That's my view on that one. We'll not get back into that too much just now, though. We'll just wait and see what Sainz does as well. That's what's driving me crackers. Just pick a seat, Carlos. Did you say the stream will start at 6 p.m. tomorrow? Asked Pascal. Yes, 6 p.m. UK time, BST ish. Might be a couple of minutes. It depends on things like if we get a red flag tomorrow or anything that, if we end up with an hour long red flag, then obviously it'll be 7 p.m. rather than 6. But usually I go live at 5. But obviously the race starts at 3 p.m. tomorrow in the UK rather than 2, so it'll be 6 o'clock. When they renew Perez contract, they didn't specify if it was a PR one, says Alexandros. It was a 1+1, wasn't it? Is what they said, because originally it was reported as a 2-year contract, and then Horner later in an interview said it was 1+1. So yeah, and do you know what, CPB, I always read your comments out, CPB, but you do make some great points to remind me of things. It says, remember Perez signed a 2-year contract for Aston Martin back in 2020. Look how that turned out. So this is what I mean. Always use an example. Nico Rosberg extended his contract at Mercedes in 2016, then retired at the end of the year. So there's always a way out. And Seb Vettel was contracted to Ferrari in 2015 and left Red Bull at the end of 2014 to go to Ferrari. So all the way around. Contracted Red Bull for 2015, then went to Ferrari. So there's always a way out of these things. But I just want to know what Sainz is doing, and everything else should fall into place. But the problem for Sainz now is, does he just wait? Because if Perez is under threat, he might be able to put himself in the wrecking there for a seat. But it sounds like it'd be Ricciardo or Perez next year, and then Liam Lawson. Whatever happens with Ricciardo and Perez should be in that RB next year. But that's not how it works, is it? I think he's earned a chance, and his standing performances were strong enough as well to back that up. But we'll end it there, I think, rather than just waffling for the next hour, which I could quite happily do. But I've got shopping coming soon. Woohoo! Adult things. That is it then for the qualifying watch on for the British Grand Prix. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you as well for getting the likes up. Over 200. There are 338 of you here. Let's see if we can get a few more likes while I'm just rounding up. That'd be appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe as well if you are new. We're live tomorrow, like I say, 6 p.m. UK time for the race reaction. I'll be with Stuart, a.k.a. Chamber, to talk about hopefully a cracking race. And it looks like we're going to get a great race tomorrow. You can follow me on socials as well if you are so inclined. But I don't really post too much over there these days because it's just not worth the headache. But, you can do if you want to. And, yeah, back tomorrow. looking forward to it. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean. This has been the F1 Word. And until next time, goodbye.